Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, her teenage child became a mother.
They took my daughter away from me.
You're saying the government basically kidnapped your child.
They could have helped us, but instead they ripped us apart.
Now,
you're very critical of the woman that has adopted your baby.
She looks like a stripper.
this outraged mom
She's a pathological liar, and she's a horrible role model for my daughter.
wants her baby back.
She doesn't see her as a daughter. She sees her as a trophy, and she likes to keep her trophy shiny.
Why are you attacking this woman?
We can't question her. We can't judge her.
You're very upset.
Because you lied. That's my problem with you.
You are so self-destructing here. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. How you doing? How are y'all? Today, two mothers who each claim a child as their own. On one side is Evelyn's birth mother, Olivia, who last saw the little girl 5 years ago. And on the other side is her adoptive mother, Jillian, who says she's been providing a stable, loving home for the entire time. There's finger pointing on both sides with claims of partying, drinking, and even stalking. The story began 7 years ago when Olivia was 15 years old, homeless, and living in a car with her mom, Julia, and younger sister, Phoebe. Olivia had just given birth to Evelyn. Julia claims authorities found her homeless and put all the children into foster care. She eventually got her daughters back, but says her granddaughter was unlawfully placed for adoption during that time. She says they never stopped fighting for Evelyn and wants to know if there is any way to make her family whole again.
I was a single mother, homeless, living in the car. Sometimes I blame myself for this. If we hadn't been poor, I think things would have turned out very different. When I learned Olivia was pregnant, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. This is a young girl, and she wasn't even sexually active, to my knowledge. She said right from the go, this is my baby, and I'm keeping it. And the minute that my granddaughter came out, I could see that my child now had become a mother. My kids ended up in foster care because we were homeless living in the car. 6 months later, Olivia was stopped by a police officer. He asked where the baby was, and she said, the baby's at my friend's house. Next thing I know, CPS is there. That was really the last time I ever saw my granddaughter. I believe this adoption was illegal because CPS falsified documents. They stated it was absentee parent, and that is absolutely not the case. I believe they did this because they saw a beautiful, healthy, happy baby, and they saw a teen mom and a single poor mom, and they pounced. Ultimately, my granddaughter was adopted by this woman named Jillian. I do not believe Jillian was the right mother. I believe she is deceitful. There's a lot of lies going on in this case, that's for sure. She's only had my granddaughter for 5 years. In that time, she's gotten divorced, moved in with her boyfriend. That doesn't sound stable to me. That's the difference between us and Jillian. We've worked from nothing to get it for ourselves, and she just gets a boyfriend or a husband to buy it for her. She says she's a full-time mother, she doesn't work. But on the other side, she says, I have a business, I've been a trainer for 15 years. Those two things don't line up. I believe she is a fraud. Now my granddaughter is 7 years old. My family is broken. There is a big part missing. I'm very determined to get my granddaughter back. She should have never been taken, ever.
Olivia may have lost physical custody of Evelyn, but she says no matter what, Evelyn belongs to her.
My family and I came to California when I was 15 and pregnant with my daughter.
When I went into labor with my daughter, they brought her up right on my chest. We all cried. It was the most amazing thing, and she was perfect.
Eventually, my little sister and I ended up in foster care, and they took my daughter away from me.
There really was no reason why they took her. They wanted her. I found out that my daughter was put into a new foster home with a woman named Jillian.
This woman is the most immature, stupid, retarded, ugly person I've ever met in my life. I do not care what happens to this woman.
And she said, I promise no matter what happens, I will always keep her in your life. I held on to that. She completely blockaded me.
She was just saying it to a scared 16-year-old so that she may take her baby.
I do believe that she manipulated the adoption by lying to Child Protective Services about who she was.
I think she's a pathological liar and she's a horrible role model for my daughter.
When I see Jillian in her photos, I don't see a mother, I see a party girl.
I mean, what a narcissistic little tick.
I do think that she's promiscuous.
She looks like a stripper.
Before she adopted, she was referring to herself as mommy.
How dare you refer to yourself as mommy? How dare you?
It's been 5 years since I've seen my daughter. 5 long years.
I would give my life if I could just see her again. If I could hold her. If I could love her. If I could be with her every day.
I wish Jillian could know how much this hurts. I just want to love my daughter.
Okay, so let's talk about this. You're saying the government came in and using their police power and their agency power,
Yes.
basically kidnapped your child.
Yeah, it may not have been, 2 men in a van, but it was a big bureaucracy that was completely against my family, and we were just 3 women.
Okay, well, let's talk about how this all happened. You were living in Florida, right?
I was living in Florida with my 2 daughters, and we sat down and decided it was time for us to leave. And we left and headed to California.
So you, Olivia, and Phoebe, pregnant.
6 months.
You leave and you go to California.
Right.
Yes.
You said you had a car and $750.
That's all I had.
And you head for California. You
Right.
figure you can get here and get work. Okay,
yeah.
so you get to California.
Right.
And you don't find work.
No.
You have a baby and you are living in a car.
Right.
So you, Phoebe, Olivia, and Evelyn are living in a car.
Right.
But then,
And this is Phoebe, by the way, down here. Hi. And you're living in a car, but the girls are in school.
The girls are in school, and she's at Santa Monica High School, and they have an in-school program for teen moms where the baby would be in school with her all day.
Right.
After school, I'd pick up both daughters. We'd go to the YMCA in Santa Monica. We'd stay there till they closed at 10 o'clock. We would do our showers, we would have our dinners, and do our homework. When they closed at 10 o'clock, we would get back in the car, and I would drive them around all night while they slept. At 7 o'clock in the morning, it was back to the YMCA, dress, teeth, brushing, breakfast, and to school they went.
Okay, but then something happens because it comes time to pick you up from school. You're not there because
Right.
you've gone to the promenade with friends. She spends the night at a girlfriend's house.
Yes, with the baby.
with Evelyn.
Okay, then you go to school the next day.
Yes.
And you tell the counselor you were living in your car.
I did not tell them that I was living in my car, no.
When I spoke to the CPS person, they said, we've been informed that you're living in the car.
Yeah.
So somebody told, it wasn't
saw.
me.
They take the kids.
Right.
So they say, you can't be raising these 2 girls and a baby in the car, so they take them. Now, at that point, they tell you, according to you, they tell you, if you'll plead guilty to something, anything, we'll give you your kids back.
That's exactly what they told me.
And I'm sorry, I don't understand the logic of that. Plead guilty to something and we'll give you your kids back. What did they want you to plead guilty to?
I honestly have no idea. I honestly do not know. They told, it goes very quick. They're like, sign here, sign there, and you can take your kids home today.
And
Right.
you don't know what you signed.
You know what, I don't know exactly. First of all, I was very nervous, very scared.
This wasn't your first encounter with the law.
Well, this was my first encounter with this type of situation, yes.
Well, no, it wasn't. Your children had been taken into foster care in Florida.
This was very, very different.
It was a new state. We were scared, so it's pretty understandable.
Oh, listen, I'm not saying it isn't. Don't jump to conclusions about what I think or what I don't. I'm trying to get to the facts. You signed some papers.
I did.
And pled guilty to something you don't know what.
I did.
Did they give your kids back that day?
Yes, they did. I left the court with them.
Okay, and then you had a hearing soon.
Right.
They took the kids again.
Well, they transferred the case from LA County to Ventura County, and that's how the case moved out there.
And you're saying they're holding hearings in Ventura County, and you don't even know it.
No, I didn't know it.
Nobody informed you.
No one had informed me
that
they
they
had
were
transferred
holding hearings in Ventura County. So you
Right.
show up for a hearing in Ventura County, which you think is the first hearing.
Right.
And it, in fact, is the third hearing.
Correct.
And the judge is saying, lady, where the hell you been?
That's exactly what happened.
What's the ruling?
They said, well, if you plead no contest, we can just give you a case plan, and you can do the case plan, and then we'll close the case. So I said, okay.
For the case plan, we had a program called Wraparound. And Wraparound met with us May 6th of 2009. And they met with us, and my mom and I were kind of butting heads because I was 15 trying to raise my daughter, and she was, you know, Mama Bear trying to help me. The Wraparound woman said that I should go stay at my friend Drew's house for the weekend with Evelyn. And so I did.
For respite. He said we were fighting cooling off period, a couple of days for respite.
And so I went there, and then the next day, I asked my friend if he would watch Evelyn really quick while I go across the street to the Jack in the Box to get something from Jack in the Box. And a police officer stopped me and asked me how old I was. And the next thing I know, I'm in the back of a cop car, and they're taking Evelyn.
Well, you understand the police reports tell a different story.
Oh, yes, I know. But is this really the first time the police have ever lied?
Okay, well, let's hear what the police report say.
Well, the police say that you had left the apartment to go bum a cigarette. You were stopped and arrested. At that point, went back to the apartment, knocked on the door. The baby
What was she
in there.
arrested for? Bumming a cigarette?
No.
Is that a crime in California?
No, it was, this happened within like 7 minutes.
Right.
It was very quick. I went across
They
the street.
detained you, asked you what you were doing.
He said, how old are you? That was the first question. He got out of the car, asked me, how old are you?
He was
and
an
I got
undercover
scared, and I said,
LAPD
18. And
at 10 o'clock in the morning in Jack in the Box. And
in my full pajamas.
Is that enough reasonable suspicion to stop her and say, who are you? What
How
are
old
you
are
doing
you?
here?
What are you
How
doing?
old are you? And where's your baby? I mean, now that I do study the law, I understand that's definitely not.
Your theory is that there was a conspiracy here. This is a vulnerable family with a beautiful baby, and they want that baby.
Yeah.
Because they get huge money for this baby. And later, so you're very critical of the woman that has adopted
yes.
your baby.
She doesn't see her as a daughter. She sees her as a trophy, and she likes to keep her trophy shiny.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil, the Jodi Arias murder trial. New details revealed from the prosecution.
Except for that one mistake. She probably would have gotten away with it.
A jury member.
You're saying one juror seemed to completely ignore the evidence.
And the victim's friends and family.
You said you guys would catch her spying on him.
My wife said, Travis, we're afraid we're going to find you chopped up in her freezer.
That's Monday.
According to you, you had seen a therapist at the suggestion of your caseworker.
The caseworker said, you must see this therapist.
Right.
The very first day we had ever met this woman, we went to the office. It was me, Olivia, Phoebe, and Drew, and Evelyn. We sat in there, and me and Olivia were fighting over the care of Evelyn, how she, you know, we're butting heads, teenager mom, helicopter mom, whatever.
Just turned 16.
And the woman said, you know, I think a good idea, and Drew was sitting in the session, would be...
This is the friend.
Yes.
Yes.
And said, you know, how about, Olivia, if you go to Drew's for the weekend? Would that be okay, Drew? And Drew said, yeah, that's fine. And the lady said, so why don't you take Evelyn and go to Drew's for the weekend? We'll call that a respite cooling off period. Then we'll regroup and come back and talk about it. That's how it happened.
And this is a therapist that is part of the county system
Yes.
with
Right.
Interface.
Yes.
So you do that
Right.
Yes.
and walk out of the apartment and are
very next day.
immediately detained.
Yes.
Well, within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go back, knock on the door, intimidate the person that's in there. Do you know about the baby being here in the apartment? If you say yes, we're going to arrest you for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. If you say no, we'll just take the baby and leave you alone. So he says no.
Right.
So they take the baby
Right.
Yes.
and go.
Right.
That's what you say happened. So You say your caseworker mandates that you see the therapist. You see the therapist says, have this respite with this family friend. You do that, and immediately you walk out of the apartment, are arrested, the baby is taken into the system.
The very next day.
And
that's it. That's where it starts. That's it.
That's what happens. You said you had a letter documenting that this is what the therapist told you. So I asked for the letter, but you don't have that letter.
I don't have a letter documenting this is what they told me. I have in the LAPD report.
Well, in your pre-interview, you said you had that letter.
No, I said I had, when I was asked about proof of that, if you look at the LAPD report when they took Olivia and they interviewed Drew, in the police report, the officer's writing on the report says, Drew told us that he was in the therapy session and it was the therapist's recommendation that Olivia and Evelyn go to his house for the weekend. That's in the LAPD report, written by the officer who took her.
Well, this incident happened on a Thursday.
Wednesday, I believe.
I don't know.
May 7th,
It was on a Thursday.
Okay.
A Thursday.
And you were not, and they were asking why you weren't in school.
Right.
Yeah. So they say. I wasn't in school because I wanted to be at home with my daughter.
It was school day, and they're asking you
it
why
very
you're
well
in school.
could be.
Yeah.
But your theory, I just want to be clear, is, at least it's your theory, and you may share it, is that there was a conspiracy here. This is a vulnerable family without means to defend themselves, with a beautiful baby, and they want that baby.
Yeah.
And so they targeted you to get that baby because they get huge money for this baby. They get huge donations from some of the entities, and they wanted this baby, and you were targeted.
Yes.
And that this baby was taken, and this is part of a conspiracy.
Yes.
Well, conspiracy is a strong word, but I do think that systems are invested in maintaining the system. And if you see a vulnerable family like we were, and they can pull a child into foster care, or 2 or 3, and they do it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I do too.
So you all 3 agree with it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And to just complete the circle, she's taken into foster care, and these 2 go to one agency home. Evelyn is placed in foster care with a non-English speaking pig farmer.
Well, these guys were all split up.
We were all
and initially, they were all split up.
Does the answer to my question yes?
Yes. From what I was told, that she was with a non-English speaking person who was a pig farmer and lived in a trailer in Ojai. That's what I was told.
So that's yes. The answer to the question is yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then that non-English speaking pig farmer died.
Yes, she died.
And so
I can't
Evelyn,
make this stuff up. Okay.
and then so Evelyn wound up with the person that now has become the adoptive mother.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
And never to return back to this family unit at all.
Correct.
Never.
Okay, up next, why Olivia says Evelyn's adoptive mom is a bad role model for her daughter. We'll be right back.
I couldn't see my mother, I couldn't see my sister, and I couldn't see my daughter. If I cried too much, if I cried too little. If I said one thing, if I didn't say anything, it was used against me.
And later, you believe she's of poor character.
When I see this is where my granddaughter is, I can't be in contact with my granddaughter. I'm unfit. She's
Because
unfit.
she's what,
She's
partying in
unfit.
Vegas?
That's fit. This is our baby.
This February, beautiful twin sisters
These 2 needles are like my children.
hitting rock bottom.
You said we're out hooking for drugs, and we get more because we're twins.
I would do anything to have them back. But they can't.
Oh, my God. Do not make excuses for these girls to their sisters.
More emotion. More surprises. More drama. And we're just getting started.
I had a traumatized 3-year-old girl saying, my daddy hurt me.
Where is he gonna hurt you at?
A child does not say those things unless she was coached.
You cannot coach a 3-year-old. Ask anyone.
That is coaching.
I came here to help my daughter, and you turned this into a giant circus.
I'm done.
Olivia is 22 years old. She's a sophomore in college. She has her own apartment.
This is my home.
She wants her first baby back. My daughter is a great mom. She should have never lost her in the first place. It was an injustice. I would hope that Jillian would allow me to be a grandmother to my granddaughter. But right now, there's no indication that she's going to do that.
Okay, Olivia, her younger sister Phoebe, and her mother Julia were homeless and living in their car when Olivia gave birth to Evelyn at the age of 15. Now, Olivia says she lost custody of Evelyn when she was accused of leaving the baby alone at a friend's house. She claims Evelyn was unjustly taken from her without her consent. So, your position is that your child was taken from you without your consent.
It's not my position. That's a fact. I never gave up my parental rights. I never signed away my parental rights to her. I did everything my case plan asked me to. I did more than one parenting class, which I was only required to do one. I took every pill that they forced me to take. I did every therapy session that they wanted me to do. I was making honor roll in every single high school that they put me at, and they were switching up my foster homes. I mean, I was in group home, foster home, and trying to juggle this. And on top of it, I had a part-time job at Baja Fresh.
And they separated us all.
And
they immediately separated us all and would not allow us to see each other.
I couldn't see my mother, I couldn't see my sister, and I couldn't see my daughter. And they were my entire life. All I wanted, you know, I'm so nerdy. All I would do is I would sneak and try to call my mom to make sure that she was okay just so I could talk to her. Usually kids try to sneak off, go with their boyfriends. I just wanted my mom. I wanted my sister. I wanted my family back. All I wanted was Evelyn. I wanted to be her mother. And I'm not a druggie. I'm not a smoker. I'm not anything like that. I was just a kid. And I did everything they asked me to do, and they said, yeah, and they even say in the report, she's done everything we've told her, but she's too anxious, and she's too depressed, so she can't have her baby.
And they stated in there that Olivia would never be able to lead a normal life or care for children because she had too many mental health issues. And they diagnosed her 10 things.
Even caffeine addiction was in my list of diagnoses. And apparently, don't go to Starbucks, guys. It's caffeine addiction.
Well, I mean, you were, she was 10 diagnoses out of the DSM for a 16-year-old. And then they diagnosed me. The woman who did the had never even met me or talked to me. And she's writing in the reports for the court about me. She is way too volatile, unstable. The woman never had a conversation with me. How do you diagnose someone you've never even talked to?
During this time, I would go to my court hearings and I would meet with the attorney. I would meet with the social workers. And, what was very hard about this is I was not just a foster child. I was a foster child fighting for a foster child. So every move I made was documented. And if I made a mistake, if I cried too much, if I cried too little, if I said one thing, if I didn't say anything, it was marked down, it was used against me.
And they have a way of Dr. Phil, they have a way of twisting the truth.
And not only that, but they're like, oh, she wants to see her mom. She's clearly volatile. They're trying to kidnap the baby, which I have never, ever
Well, they said from get-go, I was a danger to my children and my granddaughter because they said I would potentially kidnap them. There was no indication of that. As a matter of fact, when LAPD grabbed Olivia and the baby, the caseworker called me and said, Julia, we need you to go to Phoebe's school and pick her up and bring her into foster care. And I had to do that. And I had to go to my 12-year-old daughter's middle school, and I took her to Burger King and sat her down and said, honey, I'm sorry you have to go back into foster care. And she was like, started crying hysterically. She was a cheerleader. I was the cheerleading squad coach.
Who's my squad mom?
For all of the cheerleaders. Maybe I was poor, maybe I was homeless, but you know what? I was still a loving mother. I loved my kids, and we were going to get on our feet. You know what they could have done? They could have helped us. But instead, they ripped us apart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, Phoebe, they put you in a felony home, correct?
Well, at first I was in a few foster homes. I just bounced around quite a bit. And I was given a casa. And she just fell in love with me. And she decided to become my foster mom.
And was forbidden to see me. That was one of the terms. She could have zero contact with me, zero contact with her sister, zero contact with her niece. And I just want to say, when Evelyn was born, you all saw the picture. We were there. She cut the cord. I saw that baby take its first breath of life, so did she. And we may have been poor, but you look at the pictures, we had love. We all loved each other. It was like divide and conquer was what I felt. Split them all up, isolate them, don't let them talk to their mother. This is a child, this is a child who needed their mother. I was their strength.
They told me, if you did not sign away your parental rights today, then you are going to jail. And I didn't know what to do. And I felt like I had nothing. And so I ran.
So you're very critical of the woman that has adopted your baby.
Yes. Because this is what happened. I went to court, and I was 16, and I met her after Evelyn was placed with her.
Wait, let me just tell them one thing, because they need a little background. I was barred from all her court proceedings. She begged and cried, can my mom please be in here? I'm scared, I'm terrified.
They wouldn't let her.
They said, absolutely not. We're treating her as an adult. I'm pushed out.
I went to court, and I was terrified. And I met Jillian, and she, she sat with me, and I was crying, and she's like, I know, it's okay, I had a little bit of a troubled past, too. I ran away when I was 15, and, she started telling me things, and she was like, if anything happens, I promise you, I will always keep her in your life, I promise. And I cannot tell you, Dr. Phil, I held on to those words, because I'm like, okay, at least if anything happens, at least I will be a part of her life. Because it didn't look good. Because they kept telling me, you're going to lose her, you're going to lose her, you're going to lose her. And I was trying everything I could not to. And she promised me. And then I reach out. And then I'm told when I'm 17, after I've been fighting, after I've been holding a job, after they've been going my visits down from 4 hours to 3 hours to 2 hours to 1 hour a week.
To no visits.
And because Jillian would take her out of town or would just decide, I'm not having a visit. And so I would get none, and I hadn't seen my daughter in a month. I hadn't seen my mom and my sister in months. And they told me, the attorney and the caseworker sat me down and told me that if you do not sign away your parental rights today, you are going to go to jail. I was terrified, and I didn't know what to do. And I felt like I had nothing, and so I ran. I ran as far away as I could because I'm like, I am not signing her away. After I turned 18, I got pregnant with my son, Harrison. And I started turning my life around, and I reached out to Jillian, and I said, and before that, I had called a phone number that she had given me at court. She said, this is my phone number, if you want to call. And I called, and I left a message, and I'm like, this is Olivia. I would like to talk. I would like to meet with you. I never said, let me see Evelyn, let me do this. I was like, can we meet, please? And then I wrote her an email after I had my son, Harrison. And I said, and you can pull up your email. I was like, I just want to know everything's okay. I just want to know she's okay. Please let me know how my baby is. She ignored me. And then I start digging on the internet. And I find pictures of her with multiple different men. And cigarettes. I see how, in cigarettes, smoking, and she's drinking, she's in Vegas, and I'm over here, and I'm trying to get my life together. I have my son, I'm in college, and I'm doing whatever I can, and I lost my baby, but she's allowed to party, she's allowed to be with other men, and she's allowed to do whatever she wants, but she's never with my daughter, but she tries so hard not to let me see her. You know what one of my friends said? You know what my friend said? She doesn't see her as a daughter, she sees her as a trophy, and she likes to keep her trophy shiny.
Whoa, wait a minute. How do you, whoa. Wait a minute. How do you know all of this from a picture?
No, it goes
multiple pictures.
It goes way beyond a picture. It goes way beyond a picture.
What background check?
I've done background checks on her.
We are very
as I'm allowed
concerned about
to
our
do because I
family
want to
member.
know how my daughter is.
This is our
What kind of background checks?
Just
I've
what
done
you run
criminal
online.
background checks.
What you run online. The one you run online, like you just put her name in and all these pictures of her.
Oh, and all of a sudden she's a stay-at-home mom, but not really because
that picture right there.
That's such a mother right there.
There's the cigarettes and drink, but she doesn't drink or smoke, and she's an at-home mom full time, and all she does is care about babies.
I don't think that's her home. I don't think
Vegas.
That's her home.
Looks like Vegas.
Oh yeah, it's Vegas.
When we
I'm
saw
not in
this, I'm sorry. When I see this is where my granddaughter is, I can't be in contact with my granddaughter. I'm unfit. She's unfit.
She's what?
She's
Partying
unfit.
in Vegas?
That's fit. I'm sorry.
You believe she's of poor character?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I can show she's of poor character. We went to her business site, and she has 2 pictures of before and after. She's a personal trainer of a supposed client. And then she writes a letter of, this is my favorite client. Well, we ran a Google image search on those pictures.
Never her client.
They're not her clients.
It's Jennifer
The
Jimenez.
one woman has her own business in Berkeley. The other woman is a model for a diet pill ad. She's on over 759 websites. That's fraud.
So this is the type of person, but she says I'm a liar and that she saved her.
And one more thing, just to go to her character, I read through the adoption documents, well, you know, what they wrote, and she absolutely swore up and down she never worked. She's an at-home, stay-home mom, that this is her purpose in life, is to raise children, and that when it was time for the visits for Evelyn to go, and this is the other big problem, this is before the adoption when she was a foster care mother, she would tell Evelyn, you're going to see Zoe the dog, talking about her, and would say, don't worry, honey, this is a 2-year-old you're talking to. Don't worry, you'll be back and you'll come see Mommy talking about herself.
And Mommy loves you.
And Mommy loves you. But right now you have to go see Zoe the dog. Dr. Phil, this is her baby.
This is
my
mine.
Granddaughter.
Her blood.
Just because the government stepped in and said, no, it's not, doesn't change anything for us. This is our baby.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil, the Jodi Arias murder trial.
What is the untold story?
The prosecutor speaks out for the first time.
Except for that one mistake. She probably would have gotten away with it.
All new Dr. Phil. That's Monday.
Olivia, you made a Facebook post about coming to find Evelyn. This was on October 21st. Okay. Mommies, I'm in a dilemma. I'm in California for the next week, and I want to see Evelyn so bad it hurts. I want to meet her brother, and I want to hold her again and see her smile. I know where she is. I have addresses and phone numbers thanks to a little self-private investigating. But I don't want to spook her.
Yep.
I'm very tempted to call her and see if we can have a visit. What should I do?
I never say in here that I wanted to come and find her. But I do want to say, what mother that's had their child ripped from them and wants to meet her little brother would not?
I'm in California for the next week. I want to see Evelyn.
Of course I would. I want to see her every day.
Yeah.
It's her baby, Dr. Phil. This is her baby.
This is
my
mine.
Granddaughter.
Her blood.
Just because the government stepped in and said, no, it's not, doesn't change anything for us. Yeah. This is our baby.
Yeah.
We will not stop fighting until we have exhausted every aspect of the courts to bring her home.
I even say in there, I don't want to spook her because I know that would be inappropriate. And I just want to say this was after I had emailed Jillian and said, could we please talk? Could we do this? So this is just implying, should I meet with her? Should I see her? What should I do? I was trying to get advice from other mothers.
Okay, then here's another post. So apparently to qualify as a mother in the eyes of CPS, you can hop around the country with your boyfriend, party, smoke, drink quite a bit, do fitness competitions pretty regularly, lie to police officers, and just go to Vegas just 'cause. But a teenager can't have her own child, but they give her to this A-class person. Hashtag bring Evelyn home, hashtag so done. Then you post, she's the biggest piece of trash.
And I stand by every word I said.
22 years old, Dr. Phil, 22 years old. Okay.
I'm not recounting any of that.
No, reference the language because you're talking about a 22-year-old, number one. Number two, after we saw the pictures in the cocktail gowns, and you have to understand, we have multiple pictures, not one, not two, not 5, 20, and every picture she's with different guys. There's never a woman in the picture.
Sometimes
there's
two different
never a baby in the picture. There's never, is she with the boyfriend, this boy? I don't know which man, because there's so many men around this woman. There's never a child. You don't see a picture of her with the baby. You don't see her with, her husband. She's divorced now. She lives with her now boyfriend and his kids. Where's Evelyn in that mix?
Is it possible that she doesn't want to post her picture up for fear that she might
For fear of what? That we'll love her?
identify her and make her an easier target to kidnap?
Oh,
I have never threatened kidnapping.
We've been in California area the same since 2008 Evelyn was born. We have never made contact with her or Evelyn. Maybe she emailed or whatever. Never physically made any contact. We know exactly where Evelyn is and has known because she was the foster care mother. So we know there's never been any attempts to kidnap this child or even make contact or even take a picture. So where's this big fear of kidnapping? We are operating within the constraints of law. I'm not at Berkeley studying the law, so I can go violate it by kidnapping my granddaughter. I'm doing it the legal way.
Well, if you're at Berkeley studying the law, so you can do this the legal way, then you know that the statute of limitations for challenging an adoption is 1 year unless there's fraud, and then it's 3.
Don't say anything.
Sorry.
Unless there's fraud, and then it's 3 years.
Unless you...
And this has been 5.
You can get around the statute.
Do you want a relationship with your baby, or do you want to be outraged?
I made a mistake and I posted it on Facebook.
And then you sit here and say, I stand by every word of it. She's a piece of trash.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Because we have a lot of fun here, don't we?
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
Having spent most of my professional career in the litigation arena, I'm not sure the best strategy is to assassinate the character of the mother that has control of the child at this point.
But it was okay to assassinate her character and my character.
I'm not asking you, I'm not...
And Jillian continues to assassinate our character.
Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy?
Happy.
She has the child. She has control of the child. And you are shooting yourself in the foot here. I mean, you can be right, you can be victims, but if what you want is a different outcome, you couldn't be going about it more the wrong way if you sat down and decided, I'm going to sabotage myself from the get-go. Did you anywhere back in like Law 101.1, did you read that thing about possession is 9 points of the law? Who has possession?
Jillian does.
Who has the power?
She does.
And so you're running uphill.
Yeah.
And so what you're going to do is piss off the person with the baby?
I have tried so hard to be nice.
Yeah.
I've tried email. I have tried to be as passive as I can be.
You're posting that she's a piece of trash.
4 years after I've tried.
Well, okay. So
After I've tried and tried.
I understand, but
you
we
want to
have
be
talked
right,
about
or do you
this.
want to get a relationship with your baby?
It doesn't follow through.
And we have talked about this, not doing.
Do you
the
want a
Facebook
relationship with your baby, or
Of
do you want to
course.
be, or you want to be outraged?
I took to it because I have been trying to do this. I've been dealing with this for 6 years and I have no one else to turn to. And so, yes, I made a mistake and I posted it on Facebook.
And then you sit here and say, I stand by every word of it. She's a piece of trash. She went to Vegas.
Okay, so now you have somebody else to talk to.
I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
I don't think you got a square deal. Okay. Let me tell you, your story goes a whole lot better when you're the only one telling it. But when you start, I can start cross-examining you two right now, and this audience is going to be clapping at different places. Because I have not cross-examined either one of you. And if I start doing that right now, you ain't as squeaky clean as everybody thinks.
I never said I was perfect.
I didn't say you said you were. I just haven't cross-examined you. I haven't gone over your record.
My record's irrelevant to Evelyn.
But you're injecting yourself into this thing and saying, I've been barred from the courtroom and I did. Look, there's a lot of reasons things get momentum. And the enemy here is not Jillian.
I know that. I know that.
The enemy is not Jillian. Jillian is just a woman that has adopted a baby and from everything I can see has done a very good job of raising this child. Because she owns a sequin dress doesn't make her a bitch.
And well, why did
no
she
one is
lie
saying
in her
that,
adoption application?
But you know what? I want to say, Dr. Phil, if it would make her more comfortable if she doesn't want Evelyn to see me, let my family. Let her see her grandmother. Let her see her aunt, please.
You're missing the point. You're aiming your guns at the wrong target.
Right. He's saying we should be going after CPS.
You're gonna train your guns on somebody. It's not the adoptive mother.
No,
But I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna finally meet the woman in the sequin dress.
Olivia's parental rights were taken away. After the adoption, it was my choice to not have any contact with Olivia. I wasn't going to have a mother in and out of my child's life. Olivia's been harassing me. She's been stalking me. Olivia showed up at my daughter's school. I adopted a beautiful baby girl, and I have every right to not be harassed and stalked.
Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
We ran our time today as we try to unravel the details in this devastating drama for Olivia and her mother, Julia. Tomorrow, we meet Jillian, the adoptive mom, the two women accused of all kinds of inappropriate behavior.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
We're going to finally meet the woman in the sequin dress.
Adoptive mom versus birth mom.
Olivia's been harassing me, stalking me. I have not.
How far will the family go?
Bring the restraining order. I'll show you where you blatantly lied in it. Bring it.
To get the baby back.
Why are you attacking this woman? You're in her face saying, you lie, you lie, you lie.
She's a saint. We're the bad people. Is that what you're telling me?
That's tomorrow.
Is Jillian a bad mom who neglects Evelyn, as both women claim? Or is Jillian a truly loving mom raising Evelyn in a happy, safe home? Watch tomorrow. You will not want to miss it. I want to thank all of my guests today. On drphil.com, we'll have some important tips for the right way to adopt. Thanks for being here. So long. Thanks, guys.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I miss my daughter so much.
We're going to finally meet the woman in the sequin dress.
Adoptive mom versus birth mom.
Olivia's been harassing me, stalking me. I have not. Julia and Olivia have both made comments about how I'm trashy, I'm a kidnapper, I stole their child.
How far will the family go?
Bring the restraining order. I'll show you where you blatantly lied in it. Bring it.
To get the baby back.
Why are you attacking this woman? She did not take your baby away from you.
But Dr. Phil...
You're in her face saying, you lie, you lie, you lie. You're on self-destruct. That's not going to get you the most of what you want.
She's a saint. We're the bad people. Is that what you're telling me?
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Thank you much. All right, yesterday we heard some outrageous accusations from Julia and her daughter Olivia. Olivia says she has been on a 5-year quest to get her daughter Evelyn back, who was put into the foster care system when Olivia was a struggling teen mom. Now, eventually, the baby was adopted by a woman named Jillian. Now, grandmother Julia claims this adoption was unlawful, Their rights were violated, and the foster mom lied and manipulated Olivia in order to keep Evelyn as her own. Here is what happened so far.
When I learned my 15-year-old daughter, Olivia, was pregnant, I was shocked. She said, "This is my baby and I'm keeping it."
When I went into labor with my daughter, they brought her up right on my chest. We all cried.
It was the most amazing thing.
We were homeless living in the car.
I asked my friend if he would watch Evelyn really quick while I go across the street to the Jack-in-the-Box. A police officer stopped me and asked me how old I was. The next thing I know, I'm in the back of a cop car.
Eventually, my little sister and I ended up in foster care, and they took my daughter away from me.
You're saying the government came in and basically kidnapped your child.
There really was no reason why they took her.
I believe this adoption was illegal because CPS falsified documents. They saw a beautiful, healthy, happy baby, and they saw a teen mom, and they pounced.
You're very critical of the woman that has adopted your baby.
Yes. My granddaughter was adopted by this woman named Jillian.
This woman is the most immature, stupid, retarded, ugly person I've ever met in my life.
I do believe that she manipulated the adoption by lying to Child Protective Services.
I mean, what a narcissistic little tick.
She looks like a stripper.
I would give my life if I could just see her again.
I wrote her an email and I said, I just want to know everything's okay. She ignored me. She doesn't see her as a daughter. She sees her as a trophy, and she likes to keep her trophy shiny.
Whoa, wait a minute. How do you know all of this from a picture? Because she owns a sequin dress doesn't make her a bitch. Your story goes a whole lot better when you're the only one telling it. You ain't as squeaky clean as everybody thinks. Who has possession?
Jillian does.
Who has the power?
She does.
And so what you're going to do is piss off the person with the baby?
I've tried so hard to be nice, but I have no one else to turn to.
The enemy here is not Jillian. We're going to finally meet the woman in the sequin dress. Now, due to a restraining order in place, the baby's birth mother, Olivia, has been asked to leave the stage so we can talk to Jillian. They have to stay 100 yards apart. Now, Jillian, a foster parent, says she fell in love with Evelyn the first moment she saw her and was thrilled to make her a permanent member of her family when the opportunity arose. Take a look.
I wasn't able to have children of my own, and I always wanted children. I fostered 6 children. I've adopted 2 of them. Olivia's parental rights were taken away because she had been leaving the group home. She was diagnosed bipolar and borderline personality disorder, and she wasn't attending school. I had absolutely no say in whether her parental rights were taken away. After the adoption, it was my choice to not have any contact with Olivia. It was 100% up to me. I wasn't going to have a mother, biological or not, in and out of my child's life. I know Olivia was upset. There have been claims that I lied to her and I was going to help her get her child back. I've never stated that. Olivia's been harassing me. She's been following me. She's been stalking me. In 2012, I saw Olivia drive by my house. I was walking outside to come get the mail. Initially, I recognized her pink hair, and I saw her face, and she drove off. It was Olivia. Since then, Olivia showed up at my daughter's school requesting pictures of my daughter. Julia downloaded my profile picture on Facebook and made comments about how I was a working girl. Julia and Olivia have both made comments about how I'm trashy, I'm a kidnapper, I stole their child. But recently, I've had to file a restraining order against Olivia. My biggest fear with Olivia is that she's going to take my child. I want Olivia to leave me alone. I adopted a beautiful baby girl, and I have every right to not be harassed and stalked.
All right, Jillian, thank you for being here. Olivia has said very critical things about you, and you have as well.
I have what?
Said critical things about her as a person.
I have stated things that I know are fact.
You put this up on your Facebook page.
Yes, I did, and that was on a Facebook page that was set to private where she was blocked.
I need answers. Does this look like a good mother to let adopt your baby? Everyone is welcome to comment, because this is who Ventura County Child Services gave my granddaughter to after they took and stole her from my daughter.
My Facebook is set to private, friends only. You better Google your name. Yeah, there's quite a bit of pictures of you.
Did I run a background check on myself, too?
If you're interested to know what you are.
I know exactly what I am.
I don't think you do.
She has my niece and her granddaughter, and she's in Vegas.
Well, then you know what? Let's take it a step further. Then Olivia should have never lost the baby, because all she did is go try to bum a cigarette from a Jack-in-a-Box.
But that's not her fault. Hell, my wife owns a sequin dress.
Okay, well, don't pick on Robin, because we all love Robin.
No,
I mean,
seriously, Robin's...
But, okay.
There's Robin in a sequin dress with Katy Perry.
No, of course. I mean,
and she's a mother.
Jay and Jordan.
But they're fully
And not long after that, she was in Washington, D.C., receiving American Mother of the Year award. So you look at a sequin dress and say, oh, my God?
No. But Olivia lost her baby because she went to bum a cigarette.
But that's not her fault.
Was I saying that was her fault? I said, what do you think of this?
What do you think of this? What do you think of all of this?
Well, number one, that picture was one of my anniversaries. My husband and I went.
The one you're divorced from now?
Yes.
Okay, just curious.
And I was married
your boyfriend and his kids.
And I was married for 16 years.
Yeah. What started to pique my interest in you was Olivia would start to send me, Mom, look at, this is Jillian. I never even met you or talked to you. So look at this.
And you write that I'm trashy.
Show me where I wrote one thing about you.
It also says it looks like she's working, if you know what I mean.
No. Pull that back up. It's the comments of my friends who wrote that.
Are you just set on self-destruct here?
No, I'm not. What I'm set on is unfairness.
Why are you attacking this woman?
Because why did we lose our family? Because I guess she's a saint, descended from heaven on a cloud. By all means, you're the saint, we're the bad people. You should keep our blood. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't really know who you are and
I'm
why
the
you're
auntie.
commenting.
Oh, you're not Mommy.
Are you here to talk at me, or would you like me to respond to anything?
And later, are you concerned about the stalking?
Yes, absolutely. Olivia showed up at my daughter's school pretending to be a cousin, asking for school pictures.
She did not take your baby away from you.
But Dr. Phil, when you read the visitations, what about telling Evelyn you're not going to see your mommy, you're going to see the dog Zoe?
This is not an open adoption.
She wouldn't get out of the car, and that was how I got her out of the car.
You're going to see the dog Zoe, not your mother?
Under CPS law, they do not physically force a child.
Well, maybe if you had told Evan you're going to see your mommy.
She knew that.
No, you said the dog Zoe.
2 years old. No, I don't really know who you are and
I'm
why
the
you're
auntie.
commenting. Okay.
Maybe.
But what I said was, you're not going to go see your mommy right now because she wouldn't get out of the car. She wouldn't even come forward on the in the van.
Okay,
when
what
she
no, I'm not done. Is you stay with mommy, meaning you, our mommy.
Well, at that time, she was almost 2 years old, and she called me
you were
mommy.
the foster mother. That's actually parental alienation. When you teach a 2-year-old that you're mommy, you're not mommy.
Are you here to talk at me, or would you like me to respond to anything?
Go ahead.
She was scared to death. The social worker came back to me and said, I cannot get her in the car. I'm going to call and explain this to social services that I'm not going to take her because I'm not physically going to force her in the car. She would not come back into the front seat because she was so scared that someone was going to put her in a car seat. So I finally had to convince her that she could go watch her favorite movie, Elmo, and play with her doggy, and that she didn't have to go anywhere, that she could go in the house. And it still took 15 minutes to coax her out. Later that evening, anybody who came to the door, she would start crying because she thought somebody was going to pick her up and take her away. In her mind, in her little mind, I was all she knew as a mother. And no, I'm not done. 1 hour a week, she went to go visit her biological mother. She's been raised knowing that she's adopted, and she's been raised knowing that she has a tummy mommy. And even at that time, she knew where she was going. We would say, you're going to see your tummy mommy.
Okay. That's not quite the way it reads. When you have a foster child, the adoption reunification service at that time were in place, supposedly. You, as the foster care mother, were you showing her pictures of Olivia, saying this is your real mommy, so she wouldn't be scared?
I didn't have pictures of her.
You couldn't get a picture of Olivia with her? And say, I'm your foster mommy.
I did not have any contact. The only time I saw Olivia was twice at court, because I went to all of the court appointments.
Do you think it's important?
Unlike your daughter, who ran away
different times. Do you don't know what my daughter did unless you have court access? So you have access to the court files?
I have some, yes.
How did you get that access?
Some of it was...
You're telling me you've seen those court files?
There is some that are listed.
You have
why.
seen those?
I have termination of parental rights. I was at the court when she wasn't there.
You were in the court proceeding?
Yes.
Inside the court proceeding?
Yes, I was.
And you have copies of those files?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That's good to know. All I'm saying is this. As a foster mother, should you at any of time, because this time adoption was not the goal, should you have said, I'm your foster mommy, but here's mommy, because of course Olivia had her till she was 9 months old. She was with us. So she definitely knew us. She definitely knew mommy, because she was calling Olivia mommy until they ripped her away, stopped letting her have visits. Visits were canceled because you were taking Evelyn out of town.
Look,
do you think that's
raising this child, and I'm allowed to go on a vacation.
No one's saying you're not. I'm not saying
if
that.
If that happens to interfere with her 1 hour a week, and I'm gone for a week, I'm sorry, I'm going to go on vacation.
That's not a problem. But the way it went down, Jillian, was first you went on vacation. Then she couldn't go to the visit because she was crying too much. Then she couldn't go to the visit again. Olivia went weeks without having a visit.
And this has nothing to do with me. CPS was not going to physically force her into the car.
But if you had said at that point, knowing the goal was to give Evelyn back to her mother, and as a foster care mother, wouldn't you say, maybe have a picture for the baby and say, here's mommy, and I'm foster mommy?
Why would I have a picture when she sees her every week? Why would I have a picture if she sees her every week?
She didn't, because you had stopped the visits from happening
actually,
with taking her on vacation.
I did not stop the visits. Child Protective Services, social services.
We're going to take a break. Up next, why Jillian does not want Olivia to have contact with Evelyn. We'll be right back.
There's been a lot of bad blood, and there's been a lot that's been said about me.
I would never, ever badmouth you, because that would hurt Evelyn.
You're badmouthing me right now.
And later...
I'm stalking you? You're not that important to me.
You're sitting here pointing your finger in her face saying, you lie, you lie, you lie.
This February, beautiful twin sisters.
These two needles are like my children.
Hitting rock bottom.
You said we're out hooking for drugs, and we get more because we're twins.
I would do anything to have them back.
But they can't.
Oh, my God. Do not make excuses for these girls to their sisters.
More emotion. More surprises. More drama. And we're just getting started.
I had a traumatized 3-year-old girl saying, my daddy hurt me.
Where is he going to hurt you at?
A child does not say those things unless she was coached.
You cannot coach a 3-year-old. Ask anyone.
That is coaching.
I came here to help my daughter, and you turned this into a giant circus.
I'm done.
My daughter has asked questions already about her biological mother. She has asked me, do you think she loves me? And my answer is, I'm sure she does. If she wants Olivia in her life, it's up to me as a parent to decide what is in the best interest of my child. So at this point, I will have to say no. There is a point where I would reconsider. I think there's going to need to be a lot of healing. She's not trashing me online or stalking me. If she can't do that, then there will be no option of them reconnecting until my daughter's 18 and has her own choice.
You say at this point, you think there's too much drama and dysfunction to introduce her biological mother into her life?
At this point, being face-to-face with Julia alone, I feel like the only thing that's going to be told to my daughter is that how horrible I am and how all the horrible things that I did.
Never.
It would, had I not seen this, which was private or was public at the time, I probably, because I actually felt very sorry for Olivia and probably would have come around eventually.
I mean, if the drama was gone, if the dysfunction was gone, if you had confidence that your character would not be assassinated and your relationship with your daughter be sabotaged, and Evelyn had an interest or a curiosity in doing that, you would be open to taking steps in that direction, first supervised and all, but I mean, you would be open to that?
I would be open to it when Evelyn is emotionally way more mature than she is right now, and I'm not talking 12. If she's interested right now at this point, I think there's been a lot of bad blood, and there's been a lot that's been said about me.
Is this about you or Evelyn? It's okay, Prudy.
Well, I don't know any mother in their right mind that would allow their child to be with someone who's trashing them.
I just want to say one thing for you, and this is mother to mother. I would never, if I saw Evelyn, I would never, ever badmouth you, because that would hurt Evelyn.
You're badmouthing me right now.
Evelyn is not here. Evelyn is not here. And are you trying to tell me that you have never said an ill word about me or my daughter, Olivia?
No.
Okay.
I've never responded online. There's nothing online. And I've never spoken to Evelyn about either of you.
Well, I've never gone on your Facebook page, so I don't know what you've discussed with your friends. I thought I was having communication with my friends in private. But that being said, you did see it, and you took it. And since I know that now you're looking at it, I will be happy to remove those 2 posts off my page.
I think there's going to be time needed to heal at this point.
For who? You or Evelyn?
Well, let me answer that question.
Sorry.
You just said, is this about you or is it about Evelyn? If I were her, the answer would be, it begins with me, the mother. You're damn right, it's about me, the mother, because this is the only mother she knows. And if the mother is under attack, that is about Evelyn. So, yeah, it is about her.
So you think Evelyn doesn't remember me and Olivia? She was 2 years old. Do you think she has no memory of us?
At this point, Mom is her. My point to Phoebe, 80% of all questions are statements in disguise. Okay. And when she says, is this about you or is it about Evelyn, what she's saying is, you're making this about you, bitch.
I get it.
And what I'm saying is, yeah, it should be about her because she's the mother charged with the emotional growth and nurturance of this child.
I get that. You cannot make that statement.
I don't feel that I need to defend myself. It doesn't matter what I say. It's always, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying.
I'm going to stop this right now. And later, you've got to provide some leadership here. I mean, you're calling her a fraud. You're
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're right. Are you concerned about the stalking?
Yes, absolutely. Olivia showed up at my daughter's school pretending to be a cousin, asking for school pictures.
Okay, first of all, were you there? She was not pretending. You cannot make that statement. You were not there. She was not pretending to be a cousin. We have someone who was with her who can say exactly what she said. So don't talk about us talking about you and then make a statement that my daughter lied when you were not there.
You're very upset.
You know why? Because you lied. That's my problem with you. It's all about don't talk bad about me, but you have no problem disparaging Olivia.
Well, that's what the school reported.
Well, you know, we have a witness. That's not what the school said.
That is what the school said. I have a written statement.
Okay, the school said, and I know for a fact, Olivia said, I'm a relative. And would that not be true? And then you ran off to the court, restraining order against me, against my daughter. I'm stalking you? Really? I'm stalking you. You put in the restraining order that I've tried to contact you and your family. I don't even know who you are before all of this. You're not that important to me.
I'm sure you've seen the restraining order.
Bring the restraining order.
So...
Because I'll show you where you blatantly lied in it. Bring it.
It doesn't matter what I say. It's always you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. Bring the evidence, which, as you know, I have presented the evidence.
Really? It's not the restraining order.
And so I don't feel that I need to defend myself when I know you've seen it. You've seen the court documents.
I gave him the restraining order.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna stop this right now because you are so self-destructing here. This is not in your best interest, and you didn't have to come here at all. This is a closed adoption.
We didn't come to you about her. We came to you about how we were wrong.
Are you guys? What? You're sitting here pointing your finger in her face, saying, "You lie, you lie, you lie," and you say it's not about her. Are you kidding me?
Because she promised Olivia that she would keep Evelyn in her life, and her actions proved otherwise.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Is there any final comment without interruption that you would like to make?
Had I felt that contact with Olivia from the very get-go and their family was a safe environment to do so, I would have.
Right.
I am in contact with the other side of the family. And I do send them pictures regularly because they don't harass me, they don't threaten me, and they don't stalk me, and they feel safe and comfortable.
And I don't either. I'm not interested in you. I'm really not.
And hopefully that can expand to this side of the family. And I will say it sounds very much to me like these guys got a very unfair handling by social services. I think there's no question about it. I think had this been handled differently, they would be in a very different place. I think Julia got mishandled. I think they got on a fast track. I think Phoebe got terribly mishandled in the situation. I think Olivia got mishandled in the situation.
And I don't know any of the facts regarding that.
I think it was a comedy of errors, and as a result, I think they're just raging against the machine, and they're blurring the lines between the machine and you. I wish you the best as a mother and in your life, and I appreciate you being here. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Do you know what the chance of flipping an adoption is 5 years in? It's like me growing hair. It ain't gonna happen. And later, there's one person in the world that can put that little hand in yours, and you want to keep sniping.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil, the Jodi Arias murder trial.
What is the untold story?
The prosecutor speaks out for the first time.
Except for that one mistake. She probably would have gotten away with it.
All new Dr. Phil. That's Monday.
I have not stalked or harassed Jillian. I just want to know the person that has my baby. Harassment is me calling the phone 14 times a day. Stalking is me tracking your every single move. An email here and there to see my daughter is not harassment. I have never tried to see my daughter. I know that that would be inappropriate. I went to the school to get a school picture, but I never tried to see her in her classroom or anything like that. Yes, I know where Jillian lives. No, I have never gone to her house.
Now, Jillian wasn't able to listen to everything that went on before she got out here, but under the rules of the restraining order, you were able to listen to what Jillian had to say. So, anything you want to comment on regarding Jillian's time out here?
I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm hurt, and I miss my daughter so much. And I'm sorry for everything I've said. And you don't have to let her see me, but please let her see my family.
You think I'm taking Jillian's side in this, right?
Yes.
If I have a horse in the race at all, it's Evelyn. If you come to me and you say, how can I get the most of what I want? I look at it from a pragmatic standpoint. I'm not as emotional about this as y'all are. So I look at it and say, how do I get you people the most of what you want? And I know the way to do that is don't poke the bear. Okay? It's just that simple. You've got a mother that has this child right now with custody. Do you know what the chance of flipping an adoption is 5 years in?
Yeah, I know, very low.
I mean, it's like me growing hair. You know, it ain't gonna happen. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. So how do I get you the most of what you want? So what could I get you if not flip the adoption? Then we could get you in the child's life, where she could wrap her little arms around your neck, where you could be there for the big things in her life, where you could have all of those things. Wouldn't that be a giant step forward? So let's call Mom a piece of trash. Does that make sense? Hell no. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, that's why I said, Jillian, just leave, because you're on self-destruct. You are self-righteous. That's not going to get you the most of what you want. I'm trying to protect you from yourself.
You can't win with the adoptive mother. You've got to make her your friend.
I tried.
But you can't say I tried, and because she didn't respond, now I get to trash her.
Yeah, I'm adding attorney and child advocate Areva Martin. I've asked her to join us to give this family some legal guidelines to what they may be able to do, what the limits are, what the avenues might be in this.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you this about the law. Dr. Phil already talked about the statute of limitations, and the probability of you being able to sue the county, slim to none. So I don't advise that you go out and spend a lot of money trying to do that, but it's your right if you choose to. But even if you're right, and even if some judge says the county screwed you, the issue about the best interest of the child, undoing an adoption like this is so difficult and almost unheard of.
I don't expect that.
Could it go to... Okay, so now let me tell you this. You can't win with the adoptive mother. You've got to make her your friend. You've got to get...
I tried.
But you can't say I tried, and because she didn't respond, now I get to trash her. And that's what Dr. Phil is saying. You've got to be patient with this. This may take...
I waited 5 years. That is patience.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to help you.
Calm down.
You don't have the law on your side. The adoptive parent doesn't have a legal obligation to even let you see the child. You may have to wait until she's 18, as painful as that is.
You've got to provide some leadership here. I mean, you're calling her a fraud.
She is a fraud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're right.
No, I'm sorry.
You're right. You're right. And you guys, you want to be right, and you can be right.
I'm sorry.
But you either want to be right or you want to be happy. The one person in the world. There's one person in the world that can put that little hand in yours, and you want to piss her off.
No, of course not.
No, and I'm sorry.
Then, and y'all keep sniping. I mean, maybe it's justified, but it doesn't get you what you want. And I'm happy to get you some help with this, kind of heal this wound and redirect this. Because there's a point at which you can be grateful for what has happened in Evelyn's life, but I really hope that there can be some leadership here towards...
Absolutely. Absolutely.
...some calmness and some gratitude for a woman that's feeding, clothing, loving, and nurturing this child.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. When we come back, you are not going to believe the surprise I pulled off that almost brought Robin to her knees.
Oh, I can't believe it! I'm in shock! I'm in shock!
We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Because we have a lot of fun here, don't we?
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, it's Valentine's Day this weekend. And my wife, Robin, is always the one who surprises me, but today I'm finally getting her, okay? So, as my Valentine's Day gift to her, I talked her #1 favorite artist and band of all time. Come on. Come here, come here.
I can't believe it. I'm in shock. I'm in shock. I'm in shock.
Come here. Okay. Okay. As my Valentine's Day gift, I talked her #1 favorite artist and band of all time to make an impromptu appearance today just for her. So without further ado, after 10 years of asking, let me introduce the hottest band tearing up the charts from Los Angeles to Sydney, Australia, our son Jordan and his band 100-Handed, performing one of their new singles, Doctor.
Oh, my God.
They're performing one of his new songs, Doctor, and this is featuring Jordan's girlfriend, Marissa, who you probably know as the rising star, Kato. All right, give him some energy.
So put this on and wait for me. I'll check you out from head to feet, and I promise you'll feel alright. I'll fix you up before you leave, 'cause I wanna know how your heart beats, and I promise you'll feel alright. And we don't have to play. I'll be your doctor. And we don't have to play. I'll be your doctor. You'll be my doctor. You'll be mine. Oh, 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 oh. I'll be your doctor. Oh, 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 oh. I need you to make me feel this way every day. So put this on and wait for me. You could check me out from head to feet, and I promise you'll feel alright. So fix me up before you leave, 'cause I wanna know how your heart beats, and I promise you'll feel alright. And we don't have to play. Don't have to play. I'll be your doctor. You'll be my doctor. You'll be mine. And we don't have to play. I'll be your doctor. You'll be my doctor. You'll be mine. Oh, 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 oh. I'll be your doctor. Oh, 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 So put this on and wait for me. I'll check you out from head to feet, and I promise you'll feel alright. And we don't have to play. Don't have to play. I'll be your doctor. You'll be my doctor. You'll be mine. And we don't have to play. I'll be your doctor. You'll be my doctor. You'll be mine. Oh, 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 oh. I'll be your doctor. Oh, 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 oh. And we don't have to play. I'll be my doctor.
I'm shaking.
Did we get her or did we get her?
Look at me shaking.
I think we got her.
Yeah, I think we got her.
Yeah.
So, we all know everybody, but introduce everybody in the band.
That's Matt Black. That's Drew on the drums. This is Steve playing the guitar. She needs no introduction.
And by the way, everybody in the audience is getting a copy of 100 Handed's debut album called Like It's Saturday. And Like It's Saturday is actually a line from 100 Handed's single, Love Me Like the Weekend, which is available for purchase on iTunes. And I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Areva Martin. Want you to have a great weekend and a happy Valentine's Day. But before we go, since it did take me 10 years to get him to perform on my stage, I have to have him play one more song. So here is 100 Handed again, this time performing their new single, She Was the One.
The brand new biggest deal. A fast heart, long nights, and sex and heels. Her lips taste like violet crumble, and I won't forget. She was the one. Now she's the one that got away, got away. She was the one. She knows that she's the one. She knows that she's the one. So bittersweet when she walked away. Such a sight to see on the other day. The door slammed like violent thunder, and I won't forget. No, she was the one. Now she's the one. Got away, got away. She was the one. She knows that she's the one. She knows. So come back to me. So come back to me. So come back to me. She knows that she's the one. She knows. She knows. Let me see your hand. What was the one? She was the one. She got away. The one. Her lips taste like violet crumble, and I won't forget. She was the one. Now she's the one. Got away, got away. She was the one. She knows that she's the one. She knows. So come back to me. So come back to me. So come back to me. She knows that she's the one. She knows. She knows.
on an all-new Dr. Phil, the Jodi Arias murder trial.
We find the defendant guilty.
A behind-the-headlines exclusive.
So what is the untold story?
New details revealed from the prosecution.
Except for that one mistake. She probably would have gotten away with it.
A jury member.
You're saying one juror seemed to completely ignore the evidence.
Jodi and her defense team were manipulating her.
And the victim's friends and family.
She actually came to the memorial service that was held for Travis.
Sat there in the front row, smiling.
You said that you guys would catch her spying on him.
My wife said, Travis, we're afraid we're going to find you chopped up in her freezer.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. You know, a beautiful 27-year-old energetic California girl who loved photography, Jodi Arias, made headlines for killing her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander, in 2008. When his body was found in the shower, he had been stabbed more than 24 times, had his throat slit, and was shot in the head. Jodi initially denied any involvement in his death, and an interrogation video that captured her examining the police audio recorder, doing a handstand and digging through the trash became an internet spectacle. Later, Jodi changed her story when investigators found some incriminating photos that placed her at Travis Alexander's home the day he was murdered. In fact, Jodi's story would change several times, which led to many surprising twists and turns in a trial that garnered international attention. Take a look.
What's going on? A friend of ours is dead in his bedroom. There's lots of blood. Has he been threatened by anyone recently?
Yes, he has. He has an ex-girlfriend that's been following him and slashing tires and things like that.
And do you know the ex-girlfriend's name?
Her name is Jodi.
Jodi Arias is behind bars on a charge of first-degree murder. The petite 28-year-old from Wairika, California, is accused of murdering her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander.
The evidence is very compelling, but none of it proves that I committed a murder.
He seemed to have it all, a deep belief in the Mormon faith and a devout following as a motivational speaker. But that all ended when his body was discovered June 9th in his Mesa home. His neck had been slashed from ear to ear. He had been stabbed 27 times and shot in the face. Investigators found photos on a digital card from a camera at the murder scene. The photos show Jodi Arias nude in bed, Travis Alexander posing in the shower.
She's told a lot of stories denying involvement in the killing.
Did you kill Travis Alexander? Absolutely not. No, I had no part in it. Who do you think killed him? I have no idea.
Then blaming masked intruders, and then finally admitting what she'd done.
But she said it was in self-defense and that she was the victim of a violent and perverted lover.
No jury is going to convict me.
Why not?
Because I'm innocent, and you can mark my words on that one. No jury will convict me.
The person who committed this killing sits in court today. It's the defendant, Jodi Ann Arias.
Bombshell tonight. After months of testimony, days of deliberation, the jury hands down a verdict in the Jodi Arias Murder 1 trial.
We, the jury, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder, guilty.
During the sentencing phase, the jury deadlocked and the judge declared a mistrial. A retrial of the sentencing phase began on October 2014. And the same thing happened. A mistrial was declared yet again.
Judge Sherry Stevens will now decide whether Arias will spend the rest of her natural life in prison. This in the hands of the judge after 2 exhaustive trials ended in hung juries, not able to unanimously decide on the death penalty. The final count, 11 jurors for the death penalty, 1 lone holdout for life in prison.
It is ordered. The defendant shall be incarcerated in the Department of Corrections for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole.
And with that simple ruling from Judge Stevens, Jodi Arias will one day die in prison.
Over the course of the 2-year televised trial, people watched prosecutor Juan Martinez fight to convict Jodi Arias, a woman accused of using flirtation and sex to manipulate men. Take a look at Juan in action.
How is it that you are not remembering what you're saying?
Because you're making my brain scramble.
So, in this case, you're looking to point the finger at somebody else again, right?
No, it's my fault.
So you believe the reason that you can't be effective on the witness stand is because somebody is asking you questions in a way you don't like?
I have no problem telling the truth.
Ma'am, were you crying when you were shooting him?
I don't remember.
Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
How about when you cut his throat? Were you crying then?
I don't know.
You're the one that did this, right?
Yes.
Well, Juan Martinez speaks out for the first time about the behind-the-scenes antics that he says happened during the trial that the public is not aware of. So please welcome prosecutor and author of Conviction, the untold story of putting Jodi Arias behind bars, Juan Martinez. So thanks for being here. Juan, did you have any idea that this was going to be such a marathon when you first got involved in this case?
No, at the beginning it was just a woman who had gone after her boyfriend. She was jilted, felt probably a lot of jealousy, and decided that she was going to kill him. But no, I had no idea.
What was it about Jodi Arias' tone and the way she stumbled over her words that raised your suspicions? Because you first heard audio of her, right? Was that your first time to hear her voice was in an audio recording?
There was. She actually, on the day that the police were going through the scene and while the body was still there, she actually called the Mesa Police Department. And when they didn't return her call immediately, she became insistent that she wanted to talk to somebody. So the detective called her back and began to talk to her about this. And she was the grieving ex-girlfriend who was saying things like, well, I don't know who could have done it. He was such a big guy. It must have taken a couple of people to do it. So she actually started down this path of making things up on that first day when the police were there.
You said in your book that there was still no definite suspect early on, but Jodi Arias was on a short list, right? What did you mean by that?
I meant she was on a short list of one. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I mean, from the very beginning, when I went to the scene, I was talking to the detective, and he said, well, we really don't have any suspects, but everybody keeps talking about this ex-girlfriend, Jodi Arias.
Even early on, you were starting to hear words like stalker and jealous, and those things started coming up early.
Right. Everyone that was there that talked about her had nothing but negative things to say about how she wouldn't leave this guy alone.
But she had an alibi, right? What was it?
Well, her alibi was that she was in Utah with another individual, cavorting, whatever that may mean. They were hanging out.
What did she do as her mugshot was taken?
She had her head tilted to the right. She was in an orange jumpsuit, and she smiled. And her explanation for that was that, well, it wasn't her fault that she was doing this. It was actually Travis's fault, the guy that she'd killed, because that's something that he would do.
So tell us about the inconsistencies in Jodi Arias' stories.
Initially, she had said that she wasn't there. Then she said, well, it was a couple of individuals that actually did this, a man and a woman. And now, well, I'm the person that did it, but he was the one that attacked me.
This was self-defense, and I stabbed him 27 times, slit his throat, and shot him in the head.
When she said that it was self-defense, in my mind, it absolutely could not be self-defense, because this was a case of overkill. She killed him 3 times over. She stabbed him when he was sitting in the shower, and after he got up, went over to the sink, and she continued to stab him in the back. He made his way down the hallway a good 15 feet. When he got to the end of the hallway, he collapsed, and then that's where she took his head and slit his throat from ear to ear. He didn't die from that, so he was spurting blood everywhere. Then, for good measure, she dragged them all the way back to the sink and put a bullet in his head.
And she asked to see this crime scene photo several times during her interrogation.
She later admitted during the cross-examination that the reason she wanted to see the photographs of the crime scene was so that she could make up her story, so that it conformed to what evidence the police had found at the scene.
When you're watching these tapes, how did you interpret this behavior?
Well, when you look at something like that, you have to take into account that later on at trial, you're going to have to deal with it. So for me, at that point, I decided that if she took the witness stand, which I believe that she would, that I had to be very assertive, very aggressive with her, which subjected me to a lot of criticism that I wanted a yes or no answer a lot of the times.
All right, next, revelations from behind the scenes of the trial. Plus, we'll meet one of the jurors from the second sentencing phase of the Jodi Arias trial and find out what that juror says happened behind the scenes during deliberations that led to another hung jury. How did she relate to you as jurors? Did you sense any remorse?
I truly believe that if Jodi didn't get caught, that she would do it again.
And later...
My brother was a good guy. We knew if anybody hurt him, it was her.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
You stole from her childhood. It's gone.
You say your family does not believe you.
It has nothing to do with him manipulating me.
You're right. It has everything to do with you not being a mother.
You believed her when she told you at 11.
I don't remember her telling me.
Why are you lying?
No, why are you lying? I don't have pictures of Mother's Day.
Mom, why don't you believe me?
That's tomorrow.
If you take a look behind me, you can see where Jodi Arias will begin her prison sentence, home to maximum security inmates.
Now, this is where she'll spend roughly 22 to 23 hours a day in an 8x12 cell. Life in Lumley will be much more solitary.
Well, it's been almost a year since Jodi Arias was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the gruesome murder of her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander. Now, prosecutor and author of Conviction, the untold story of putting Jodi Arias behind bars, Juan Martinez, is with us today. There were things that you knew that you kind of kept close to the vest. For example, Jodi had borrowed 2 gas cans a month before the trip to Mesa, Arizona. So was she planning this that far in advance?
She was, and with that information, I started to look at some of the receipts that were taken during an execution of a search warrant at her house, and I saw that there was a receipt from a 5-gallon gas can. So now I knew that I had 3 5-gallon gas cans, 15 gallons, and I also knew that in an interview with the police, her mother said, well, Jodi told me that she wasn't anywhere in Mesa, and she had the receipts to prove it. So it's clear she was planning to keep certain receipts, but she was also planning not to stop in Arizona for gas because the 15 gallons allowed her to go through the state of Arizona without stopping for gas, and there are no receipts to prove that she actually did it. Even an opening statement, the defense attorney indicated that this was a trip that she hadn't planned. This was a trip that resulted as after she spoke to Mr. Alexander, so it was a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing. But the gas cans spoke otherwise.
So what is the untold story? Is it that this was not even an impulse thing that she did? Is it this long premeditation? What is the untold story?
That is the untold story. A lot of things that she did in advance. She rented a car to drive out to Mesa. She didn't rent it in her hometown, which is very small. She rented it 90 miles away. When she rented the car, she was initially given a red one. I don't want one of those because that one stands out. So she was given a white one. And when she showed up, she was blonde-haired. That's the person who helped her remembers that specifically. Yet when she killed him, and in the photographs that we see on the camera, she's dark-haired. So in between then, she changed her hair color. Another thing that she did is that when she parked the car outside of the house, she took both license plates off so that nobody would be able to identify the car. So she went to great lengths to make sure that no one could tell she was there. And she was, by and large, she was successful except for that one mistake. She probably would have gotten away with it.
In searching the car, 2 knives and a high-point 9mm semi-automatic were found after her arrest. Now, these were not the murder weapons.
No, they were not related to the murder. At the time of her arrest, and part of the reason the police arrested her when they did, is that she was planning on taking another trip. And there were some similarities to the Travis Alexander killing. She was in a white car, just like the one that she had taken to kill him. She was carrying a gun, just like she brought when she went to visit Travis. And she, in this case, had 2 knives. I'm not sure what she was going to do with them, and I did not introduce them at trial, but she did have them.
Yeah, that's unsettling. Jodi Arias was spared the death penalty a second time after one juror, known as Juror 17, voted against death and deadlocked the jury. Now, Holly was Juror 8 in the retrial of the sentencing phase in court.
The jury ended up hung because of one juror, Juror 17, even though 11 other people believed Jodi deserved the death penalty. The second Jodi got on the stand, you could tell instantly that it was staged and that this was not honest. Jodi thought that she could play us and that she could manipulate us into believing her lies. I think the prosecutor, Juan Martinez, was awesome. So I think he did a really good job. He was confident in what he did. He was speaking truth, and you believed him. Jodi definitely made it out like she was Travis's dirty little secret, claiming that he was aggressive with her, and we definitely did not believe her. Our last-ditch effort for Juror 17 was to show her the brutality of the crime. So we laid all of the photos out on the table. It was disturbing to look at. Day of sentencing, when Jodi had her opportunity to stand up and beg that she gets life with parole, she used her time instead to share that she all of a sudden does remember when she slit Travis's throat and that he was conscious. And that to me was confirmation that I was on the right track. She was as evil as I thought she was.
Well, Holly, thanks for being here and talking about this. So you're saying except for this one juror that certainly is entitled to her opinion, but just seemed to completely ignore the evidence, you believe that she would have gotten the death penalty?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Everybody else believed that this was an evil, intentional, premeditated act?
Absolutely.
Do you think she had an agenda?
I think it's possible she after it was over, I felt like maybe because of the Juan Martinez apparently had convicted her ex-husband. But in my opinion, Jodi and her defense team were manipulating her into believing these things.
How did Jodi relate to you as jurors?
She definitely tried to make eye contact with us. You know, she definitely didn't seem like the Jodi from the pictures that we were seeing. She definitely looked like a little librarian type, and I think she really wanted us to focus on her, just look at her and think, hey, I'm a real person, I'm not this monster.
Did you sense any remorse in her whatsoever?
None at all. I truly believe that if Jodi didn't get caught or if she was ever released, that she would do it again.
Okay. All right, next, we'll meet Travis Alexander's sister, who is speaking out for the first time in almost a year and wants to set the record straight about the lies she says Jodi Arias told in court about her brother. We'll be right back. He had told you that Jodi was stalking him.
She was slashing his tires, and he would take off on vacation and come home, and she was sleeping in his bed. One time he found her hiding behind the Christmas tree.
And later,
Mila said this: we're afraid we're going to find you chopped up in her freezer.
This February, beautiful twin sisters.
These 2 needles are like my children.
Hitting rock bottom.
you said we're out hooking for drugs and we get more because we're twins.
I would do anything to have them back. But they can't.
Oh, my God. Do not make excuses for these girls to their sisters.
More emotion. More surprises. More drama. And we're just getting started.
I had a traumatized 3-year-old girl saying, my daddy hurt me.
Where is he going to hurt you at?
A child does not say those things unless she was coached.
You cannot coach a 3-year-old. Ask anyone.
That is coaching.
I came here to help my daughter, and you turned this into a giant circus.
I'm done.
There were plenty of tears in the courtroom today, all of them from loved ones and supporters of Travis Alexander.
Emotional statements from Alexander's sisters, who talked about how their loss and the trials have affected their lives.
I'll hope that she would have some remorse. But she has shown no mercy on Travis nor our family. And what I'm asking of you, Judge Stephen, is please don't spare her any mercy in her sins today.
It has been almost a year since Jodi Arias was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the gruesome murder of her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander. His sister, Tanisha, says the trial took a huge toll on her, knowing how much her brother suffered at the hands of the woman who lied in court and turned the trial into a circus with her shenanigans. Tanisha is speaking out for the first time since the trial ended.
Seeing Jodi in the trial on stage made me want to crawl over the stand and kind of smack her in the face. Her eyes are real dark, so it's almost like you're staring at pure evil. I think Juan Martinez, he was a really great prosecutor, but on the other hand, without preparing us, he threw autopsy photos down. Having to see my brother's throat slit from ear to ear was really hard and will haunt me forever. But when we got the hung jury, our family was devastated. I was there with Juan while he struck out some of the jurors, and I had a problem with him not striking out the one that ended up being the holdout, juror number 17. So our family felt cheated because she was the only holdout. During the trial, Jodi couldn't remember anything about the murder. She couldn't remember killing Travis. She couldn't remember stabbing him 29 times. But when she was giving her last statement, she turned to us and said,
I do remember the moment when the knife went into Travis's throat and he was conscious.
And it's just like, wow. Did she really just say that to us? When they shackled her out of the room, I told her to burn in hell.
Well, Tanisha, I'm glad you're here, and I'm just sorry for your loss. How did you feel when you heard her say he was alive when I slit his throat?
She could have said she's sorry for what the family had endured. She just turned around and gave us one last stab. So it was intentional.
And she said things about your brother, and this is from DailyMails.com's covering of it, is that she argued with Travis and he gave her 2 middle fingers, that he was seeing other girls at the same time as her, that he damaged her confidence, that she would shake like a chihuahua, and that he wanted her to dress like Little Red Riding Hood while tied to a tree. That he was temperamental and had extreme mood swings, that he grabbed her wrist and slammed her onto the bed, that he kicked her ribs, that he hurt her finger, that he was a pedophile. I mean, these are prominent among the things that she said. What do you say about all of that?
Well, first of all, you got to look at her character. Where did she start with the beginning of this? That she hadn't seen my brother in months. And she changed her story to 2 ninjas came up and killed him. And when they went to kill her, the gun jammed. And then when that story didn't work, she changed it to self-defense. There was no proof that he ever physically hit her. My brother was a good guy. The sexual contact they had with each other, he's a 30-year-old man. But I think she's the one that seduced him. She's the one that acted like that dirty little schoolgirl. And
he had told you that Jodi was stalking him.
Yeah.
Right?
We were at my grandma's one day, and the phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and he kept, like, ignoring it. And I'd said, well, why don't you just answer the phone, Travis? And he's all, it's just one of my ex-girlfriends that won't leave me alone. She's kind of stalking me. And I was like, oh, you know. So that was the first that I heard about that with Jodi. Yeah. And then after that, he would tell us on the phone, you know, during chats that he believed she was slashing his tires, and he would take off on vacation and come home and she was sleeping in his bed. One time he found her hiding behind the Christmas tree. She was completely stalking him, obsessed with him.
She actually came to the memorial service that was held for Travis.
sat there in the front row, smiling, not with a tear in her eye, but acting like she was the poor me, I'm the girlfriend. We knew if anybody hurt him, it was her. Wow. So to see her there, it was just like...
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, we're going to add two of Travis Alexander's closest friends. One who saw Jody just 24 hours after she brutally killed her ex-boyfriend. We'll be right back.
I said, Travis, something's wrong with her. My wife says, stop. She's out there. Travis rips the door open, and that was evil standing there like I've never seen before in my life.
And later...
they had this huge fight. Nobody's ever figured out why did she make the sex tape and what they were fighting about. And my theory is that she was blackmailing him.
We've heard about Deputy Maricopa County Attorney Juan Martinez and how he's sort of very aggressive, frankly, in his questioning in this case.
He's been shouting at her. He's been mean to her, and he's put her on the ropes several times, and, you know, he's caught her in lies.
Some people would argue that he's taking away from the trial, from the actual prosecution, from her answers by making himself very much a part of the story.
Well, objections have been raised about the conduct of prosecutor Juan Martinez during the Jodi Arias trial that captivated the country for nearly 2 years. Now, two of Travis' close friends say they warned Travis about Jodi after witnessing many red flags. Take a look.
A lot of us warned Travis there was something just not quite right about Jodi. Travis made the comment several times that if you ever find me dead, Jodi's the one that killed me.
There's something off about her. I began to see these red flags. Jodi admits that she had been into his email and forwarded herself email between Travis and other women. Who does that?
She was going through his phone and he got a text message from someone and she replied, I can't right now, I'm cuddling with Jodi.
My wife and I were going to tell Travis he should break up with her when we caught her eavesdropping outside of my bedroom door twice in one night. Pulled the door open and this look that was on her face, it was pure evil. My wife and I are laying in bed and my wife said, are we safe?
Jodi was a complete stalker. We were at a banquet. She got me in the restroom by myself, stood in front of me, and said, you know that Travis and I are an item. She was shaking. She just looked crazy. And she said that over and over and over.
In the middle of the night, I got a call that said, Chris, I have bad news. Travis is dead. And after my initial outcry, I said, Jodi Arias did this.
The first words out of my mouth was, it was Jodi.
The most important thing for me is that she never sees the light of day.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Clancy, she was jealous. Was she threatened by you?
Absolutely.
And how did she deal with that? How did she handle you?
She knew that I wasn't fond of her, so she tried to be overly nice to me.
She had showed up at Travis's house unexpectedly and did sneak through the doggy door.
She actually showed up at that time. She showed up at his house. He was actually on the phone with her before and said, there's no room for you here because there was a lot of us staying at his house and all of his rooms were full, couches full. And he said, there's no room. I'll see you tomorrow. But then she shows up and she slept next to and under the Christmas tree.
Yeah, and Chris, you said that you guys would catch her eavesdropping and spying on him.
It all came to a head when he saw a text message that came from my wife, and it said, she's driving me crazy. And he said, Chris, I saw that. What's going on? I said, Travis, we need to talk. And he says, well, start talking. And I said, I'd like us all to be here. So my wife, myself, and Travis were upstairs having this conversation. We thought Jodi was asleep. My wife said this. She said, Travis, we're afraid we're going to find you chopped up in her freezer. My wife says, stop. She says, like, she's out there. And so Travis jumps off the bed, rips the door open, and that was evil standing there like I've never seen before in my life. Like, that look that we saw, that was so scary and so frightening. Like, are we in danger?
That's pretty bold.
And I just said, look, Travis, I love you. I'll always love you. There's something wrong with that woman. She's no longer welcome here, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Are you worried that the evil hasn't stopped?
One of her cellmates actually contacted me after she got out of jail with her and told me that she was talking about putting out a hit on one of the siblings and myself and Chris and Sky.
Have you reported this?
No.
I'd start there. What were you and he doing the last time you saw him?
We got to go and pass out care packages to the homeless, and he got out of his car and just shook all the homeless people's hands and heard about their situations and just told them, you know, we've both been homeless too, you know, it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters where you're going, and just, you know, try to motivate them and uplift them. And it's a very special day that I'll cherish forever, because I never knew it was going to be our last day. But now it's not here. So I'm thankful for that day.
Well, I hope as time passes, these terrible memories give way to those really positive things that you cherish. I think they will shine bright, and these things will begin to give way to those really positive things that all of you have experienced about him. When we come back, we're going to meet a man who is, you're going to be shocked after everything that you've heard. He's one of Jodi Arias's biggest supporters. After following the trial, he even wrote a song defending her. We'll hear what he has to say. We'll be right back.
I don't believe it was first-degree murder.
She slit my brother's throat. She stabbed him 29 times and shot him in the face. You don't see first-degree murder?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Innocence lost?
I was his. I belonged to him.
Or a cry for attention?
Why are you lying?
You say your family does not believe you.
That's tomorrow.
I wrote Jodi a letter after I saw a couple of her interviews, and I felt as though her interviews was one-sided. I had a friendship with Jodi for a little over a year. Went to visit Jodi 3 times. I wrote a song about Jodi Arias.
Yeah, it just ain't right. Fight or flight. She never thought she'd be the one that end his life.
I think she's a cool person. She's definitely down to earth. I saw her American Idol audition.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining.
I think her singing is great. I wish I could get her on a song. That'd be dope. I do not believe that she's guilty of first-degree homicide. I just don't think she deserves life. I will continue to visit Jodi as long as she's in prison.
You don't really want to comprehend it. That's why y'all wanted death for the sentence.
Kareem, you think that this is a self-defense situation?
Yes. I don't believe it was first-degree murder.
She slit my brother's throat. She stabbed him 29 times and shot him in the face. Premeditated. You don't see first-degree murder or premeditation? I mean, second degree, that's good?
I think it was second degree.
Really? Where's
actually,
the proof?
you said you thought
I didn't come here to argue with you.
I didn't either, but I want to know where you think that my brother's throat got slit. She didn't deserve to get first-degree murder.
I didn't come here to argue with you.
Of course not. You just came here to rap about Jodi Arias, right?
That's my homie.
Well,
get your 15 minutes of fame.
I just feel like maybe if you research that a little bit more, your opinion might change.
I think I've done enough research.
Well, so you've written this song. How's it doing?
It's doing good.
Yeah?
Getting a lot of exposure for it.
How many copies have you sold?
Sold about 50 copies so far.
Yeah, I think you're entitled to your opinion, but I do think in fairness, you should consider challenging yourself, because I really believe that other than Jodi, who has been demonstrated to be a pathological liar, is the only one that has ever uttered so much as a syllable about him being abusive with anyone. I would think you might want to re-examine that. Coming up next, we're going to meet investigative reporter and a good friend of mine, Jane Velez Mitchell. She has covered the Jodi Arias trial from the beginning. We're going to find out what she says happened during the trial that the public did not get to see when we come back.
two key lawyers in this case have now written books.
On the witness stand, Martinez went after Arias. His verbal jabs attracted national media attention. Now his soon-to-be-published book, titled Conviction, The Untold Story of Putting Jodi Arias Behind Bars, promises to unearth new details from the investigation that were never revealed in trial.
I think it's a horrible idea, and I can't imagine what on earth the county attorney's office is thinking.
Well, prosecutor Juan Martinez has received some criticism for writing a tell-all book that he claims will rip the lid off the behind-the-scenes drama that happened at the Jodi Arias trial. I, for one, am tickled to death that he wrote this book. Investigative reporter Jane Velez Mitchell covered the Jodi Arias trial from the beginning. She said it had all the elements of a blockbuster trial: an attractive killer, a handsome victim, a tremendous amount of sex, religion, and all kinds of intrigue. And sadly, that's what captures the minds of America, right?
Yes. I mean, a team of Hollywood scriptwriters stuck in a closet for a year couldn't come up with the real facts of this case. The things that this woman did after she slaughtered Travis Alexander, calling him and leaving him a voicemail. Hey, a friend of mine and I are going to Shakespeare. You want to come? As you mentioned, going to the memorial service. And by the way, she visited the scene of the crime on the way to the memorial service. This woman is so beyond diabolical. The brazenness of her behavior, I think, just absolutely captivated the world.
Yeah. Apparently, she's having a great time in prison now. I mean, to hear her tell it, she's got it going on in prison and has found a way to make that okay.
Well, I think a personality like Jodi Arias wants attention, and she's still getting attention. And what's so fascinating about her is it doesn't matter if it's positive attention or negative attention. When her own attorney got up and said 9 days out of 10, I don't like Jodi Arias, she smiled. She was thrilled because she was getting more attention. So even behind bars, I think if people are paying attention to her, that gives her a sense of identity that she just doesn't have. I mean, this is a very, very sick woman. I believe she is nuts, but she does know right from wrong, as evidenced by her absolutely diabolical planning. And I have to say one thing, Dr. Phil. I have a theory of this case that I outline in my book, that she used that sex tape that she recorded on May 10th, surreptitiously, of Travis Alexander, and they said some very raunchy XXX rated things, and that she called him a couple of weeks later, and they had this huge fight over text and instant message. What were they fighting about? Nobody's ever figured out why did she make the sex tape and what they were fighting about. And my theory is that she was blackmailing him with that sex tape and saying, you better take me to Cancun on that trip that that's about to happen with all of our mutual friends. You better take me, or I'm going to play this raunchy sex tape for the world. And that's when he turns around and says, you've betrayed me, you're evil, you're the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life, and go to hell. And 2 days later, she stages the burglary at her grandfather's house, where she gets the gun, and the plot to kill him begins. So I really think that is sort of the story that has never been told.
Okay, we'll be right back. We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Because we have a lot of fun here, don't we?
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
There's a certain type of mental illness that tends to get worse with therapy. And I'll tell you why, because they just learn the buzzwords. They learn how to mimic empathy. They learn how to say the things people want to hear, and it just makes them harder to detect.
Dr. Phil, she stalked another boyfriend long before Travis Alexander. She did it before, and that's why she has to stay locked up forever, because she could do it again.
Well, and you heard one. You said they found, what, 2 knives and a gun in her...
Right.
In another car.
Right. When she was going on a trip.
Oh, my God. I mean, where was she going? Who was she going after? So, Clancy, you want to say something?
I was just going to talk about the timeline. In March of that year, she actually asked, do you guys think you would recognize me if I had dark hair? So I think it started there. I mean, I think she already knew then what she was going to do.
Wow. Holly?
Not to mention, too, we had an opportunity to read through her journals, and quite a few of them. And you could definitely see there was a turning point where she started writing these as if, like, you know, it went from the first, you know, year and a half, Travis was amazing and he was great. And all of a sudden, towards the end is where we started believing that she started planning this. She would say things like, oh, you know, he's, you know, it's just being Travis again. And now she's starting to say him in a negative light. So to us, as the jury, we thought kind of, I mean, at least a month, if not a little bit more than that, she was even trying to set it up in her journals.
Amazing. Well, we have to stop. I think we could stay here and talk about this for a long, long time to come. But I think one of the main things that I wanted to do today is recognize Juan Martinez for the excellent job that he did in bringing this woman to justice and the excellent book that he's written. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to Deputy County Attorney for Maricopa County, Juan Martinez, and investigative reporter, Jane Velez Mitchell. You can get a copy of his book, Conviction, The Untold Story of Putting Jodi Arias Behind Bars, in bookstores tomorrow. You can also get a copy of Jane Velez Mitchell's book, Expose, The Secret Life of Jodi Arias, in bookstores now. And Chris's book, which I think is really special, Our Friend Travis Alexander. The Travis Alexander story is on Amazon. We will see you next time. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. We will talk very soon. Okay. All right. Guys, thanks so much. Juan, great job. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys.
On an all-new Dr. Phil.
Twin sisters in and out of rehab over 80 times each.
Heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, anything they can get.
Beautiful twins.
These two needles are like my children.
With an ugly secret.
You said we're out hooking for drugs, and we get more because we're twins.
There's nothing that can help me. I robbed a bag of pennies from a blind man. I like to rob the UPS guy and the mailman.
And you got him a lawyer.
Has the entire family hit rock bottom?
I would do anything to have them back. But they can't.
Oh, my God. Do not make excuses for these girls to their sisters. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, twin sisters Talia and Alyssa are identical in every way. They look alike, they sound alike, they share the same mannerisms, and have been inseparable since birth. But there's something else identical about these twins. They're both drug addicts who say they have been in and out of rehabs and detoxes over 80 times each. They claim every facility in their state has blackballed them, banned them, said they cannot come there. You may be asking yourself why we're trying to save these young women today, since they don't seem to care if they live or die. Well, we're doing this for a number of reasons, not the least of which is their 3 younger sisters and their parents, Renee and Jackie, do care. And they say that these girls need at least one last chance. And they believe that I am that last chance. So how bad is it? Their parents say it's only a matter of time before not one, but both of their twin daughters are found dead.
My identical twin daughters are drug addicts.
Heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, anything they can get.
I don't even have a guess as how this all started. I feel like they had a good home, good family, good sisters. I've just recently found out that Alyssa injected Talia for the first time. Alyssa is the ringleader.
If one of the twins is doing drugs, the odds are against the other one being sober.
They've prostituted themselves for the money, for the drugs.
I can't imagine the lowest points and what they've done in order to get drugs.
Alyssa OD'd once on Father's Day.
I'm going to start my video in case we have to give you
We've taken the girls to the ER 6, 10, 12 times easy. We've tried everything from treatment centers to detoxes to sober houses, and nothing has worked.
You name it, they've stolen it from us. Cell phones, headphones, endless amounts of money. Talia was arrested for stealing. The last straw was she stole my 16-year-old daughter's school iPad.
I put locks on these doors here because of Talia and Alyssa.
It's been so bad I've had drug dealers call my house.
They're in the drug den doing crack, coke, and dope. They robbed multiple people.
My biggest fear is that somebody will come to this house and hurt me or hurt my kids. I have a 70-inch TV in my room, 12 screens of surveillance.
This is the driveway. That's the back door. A couple of times I have seen drug dealers in this house on my security system.
I found out Talia was in the street. She did call us, begging us to please come home and she'll get help. And I said to Jack, I need to go get her. And he said, there's no way you will go get her. We are done. She's going to do this on her own.
I've told them many, many times that they're welcome in this house. If they're not going to stay sober, they're not going to stay here.
It took everything in me not to go pick her up and bring her back here again.
I'd do anything in the world for them, but this is something that they have to do on their own.
Well, I'm sorry for your circumstance, but I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
But you say he's willing to let them die if that's what it is, and you're not.
I'm not. Everybody says to let them go, but I can't.
So, Dad, where are you on that?
I don't think I've given up, and I won't give up. But like I said, I think they have to realize that they've hit their bottom. It got to the point where we can't let them affect the other kids' lives in the house.
Are we going to sacrifice these to save this one? As a parent, that's an ugly truth, but that's part of the truth, right?
I've never looked at it like that, but yes.
You don't know the whole truth here because you've said, ugly truth, I don't want to see it. You have to know the truth here. Alicia and Talia, they agreed to let us follow them as they went about their nightly needle routine. We did this from a documentary standpoint. We don't comment, we don't encourage, we don't discourage, we don't intervene, we don't stop, we don't start. We are fly on the wall. Within 22 minutes of meeting up, the twins shot up 4 times. Take a look.
Hey. Open this bag. I'm getting water. Dying crash I am. I've done it all day. Okay, can I tell you? I always go after her because she's spoiled. I have no veins left. It's always messy. Disasters. And actually that light helps me find the veins. I'm able to hit myself right away, always. I just get right into this one, go right in. And then right after the shot, I'm gonna need more. This is what happened. And we're done at the same time. 5 minutes ago, I felt really sick and uncomfortable. My legs hurt and didn't even want to look at her until she gave me my now. I'm like happy to be next to her. The first time we ever got high was together. We did a perk 30. Yeah, oxycodone 30 milligrams. We sniffed them. We had a friend who offered it to us and we did it at the exact same time. But I took off faster. I was addicted quick. I started using the needle after her. She convinced me to do it for the first time. I talked her into it and I feel so guilty. And then from there on, I just never stopped. I keep going until I get more and more high to the point where I can't take it. And I like bumps in my hand from doing it all day. My hands are all bumps.
Gross. My hands are all puffed up right now. I always miss a little bit in my hand, and my hands are all messed up. I'll sit here and call people and beg for it all day. And it makes me sick. Like, I get so high, I get sick, and I have to puke all day. It's so dirty. It's not sterile. It's disgusting. This is why I start getting hot and sweaty. And my hand's hurting really bad. Yeah, this is like the typical life. Like, we just sit on the couch all night and try to get more. And try and get more. We're always waiting for the next shot, you know? Yeah, right there. All right, I need to make my shot now. Ow. Nothing can stop us from getting high, ever. I'm more aggressive with it. I'll shoot it anywhere. I'll shoot it in my feet if I have to. My friend died of a heroin overdose, and I did it in the bathroom of his wake. Like, you do it anywhere, anywhere. I'm addicted to the needle. I love the needle. I love the way it hurts. I love everything about it. I never want to stop. I just want to keep going. These 2 needles are literally like my children. Like, and if I lose one of them, I go crazy. I'm really, really, really high right now. Me too. Itchy. I just want to let go. Like, so it's like not even the fact that we need more. It's like all in your head that, like, if you don't get it, you're gonna die.
So what's your reaction?
I see the reality of addiction. Unfortunately, it's my kids.
Alyssa's boyfriend / drug dealer doesn't want to tell you there because she steals. He's even had to put cameras in the bedroom because Alyssa steals from him. So even the drug dealers are putting up security cameras to keep the girls from stealing from them. And they don't have money, so they're eating out of dumpsters. But you give them money.
I give her food. I will take her to the grocery store and give her some food. To me, giving her food is not the same as giving her money.
But you know she'll take that food across the street and return it and get money back for it, right?
No.
Mom, these girls have one currency, that's drugs.
They're not even allowed in our house anymore.
Okay, I gotta know when they come out here and I start talking to them that you've got my back.
I got your back, your lap, your chair.
All right, next, the search for drugs did not stop once the twins got to L.A. Let me tell you, you have to understand what we're dealing with here. We're going to meet them after the break and hear how they got high in Hollywood.
I like to rob the UPS guy and the mailman. When I was like 18 years old, I got a job at a nursing home. I wanted to rob the elderly. I robbed a bag of pennies from a blind man, and he was in his bed. I just said, let's rob a liquor store, get the gun.
And later, you just laughed about it. Twins, they like that, ha ha ha. We're out hooking for drugs, and we get more drugs because we're twins.
For me, like that high in the end, it's worth it.
Tomorrow, she suspects her husband.
You say that he's injecting you with poison every night.
Absolutely not.
See the hole on my arm, eye, neck. I wear this neck brace to keep him from poking me with the needles.
Is he poisoning her?
He tampered with the food.
Your lab reports show no poison.
Or is she delusional?
You said you would shave your head to show me where he's put needles in you.
Go for it.
Then on Monday, did her son's girlfriend push him over a railing?
He was drunk, and you were yelling at him.
I thought I heard her say she pushed him.
Did you put your hands on him?
No.
Well, why did he fall?
That's Monday.
Every night we tell ourselves, like, we're gonna try in the morning to do something different, and we never do. The morning never comes. Our lowest moment in the hotel room. Yeah, some guy forced us to sleep with him and said if we didn't, that there was gonna be... Then we couldn't get drugs, and we had to take turns. And he held us hostage there all night long. And remember the time we were in the bathroom and we did it, and we were like, we cried, and we were like, why are we doing this? Like, why? Who are we?
Homeless, identical, and addicted. That's the day-to-day reality of twin sisters, Elisa and Talia, who both say getting high is all they think and care about. Now, they admit They smuggled drugs on the plane to get here. So how did they survive the last 48 hours in Hollywood?
We're here in Hollywood. We've been searching for needles all day. This is all we have left from what we saved from Boston. And I make it so it's perfectly even, because we only have a tiny bit left. I'm in. Thank God. I'm done. I'm good. Now I'm calm. It's in. And we're good. Feels so much better. But now the only problem is we have nothing left. So we need to go hustle on the streets of Hollywood, and we can do it. We need to find people who look homeless, or we're gonna go to an AA meeting or an NA meeting and try to find people who don't look sober and ask them where they got their and we're gonna obviously look cute because we can manipulate any man. We get dressed up and we go find drugs. We need to go hustle. Okay, so we couldn't find heroin in California, so we found... We went out and we found crystal meth. We have some crystal right here. And this is my first time doing it, so I'm really scared. I don't know how much to do. Do it. Okay. It's clogged. I need my elastic. Okay, here we go. Talia, she didn't get it yet, so we still have some. She's shooting it right now, and it's gone. So we'll see how she feels in like 8 seconds. Watch my pupils. Ready? They get huge, and I get crazy dizzy. Oh my God.
You wrote me. Why?
Because I feel hopeless with my life and I don't know what to do anymore.
Do you really think that you'll wind up dead, or do you think you're the exceptions that'll prove the rule and you'll beat the odds and you'll wind up okay, you'll live through this?
There's times where I say, like, I don't mind if I overdose and die. Or I'll say, maybe if I go to rehab, I'll learn how to be a better drug addict. Because
Yeah.
I think we're invincible. I see it as you're afraid to live and not afraid to die.
Yeah.
And it's like an everyday, every half hour, you know that it could kill you.
How long has it been since y'all shot up, had any kind of drugs at all?
An hour.
What did you have this morning?
A lot of meth, and we've been awake for 6 days. Really.
How did you get it?
I walked around and I asked people, and we found it instantly.
And they just gave it to you?
I sold a phone that a friend had just bought me.
And you've just been in detox, right?
I just got out of detox a couple of weeks ago.
The split second you got out, you gave her drugs.
Yes. I didn't want to, but I know how it feels to be sick and want them.
But she had just been through detox.
She wanted them though.
So how do the twins get money for the drugs they need to keep from going into this withdrawal, getting sick? Well, I'm going to let them tell you. Take a look at this.
Usually we always find drugs together, find money together, find ways and means to get money together. I have some stuff here that I stole out of people's cars, phones, iPods. I was with someone and we had an idea. I just said, let's rob a liquor store. I know a perfect one. You're gonna do it. Get the gun. We got the rifle. He cocked it. He put a mask on. He put a mask on and he went in the liquor store and he robbed the liquor store blind. And he ran out, threw all the cash at me, and we started driving. And we were counting the money on the way to the dealer. Didn't even think about what just happened. Now the person that I did it with has been sitting in jail for 3 months while I'm getting high. So I just feel like I'm kind of invincible until I get caught. When I was 18 years old, I got a job as a home health aide at a nursing home. I wanted to rob the elderly, which sounds crazy, but elderly always have money. Anything valuable, jewelry, cash, checkbooks. I robbed a bag of pennies from a blind man, and he was in his bed when I was in there. I got caught. My dad got me a really good lawyer, and I only got a month in jail and 18 months probation. We just keep getting away with it. From our family's house, we've stolen piggy banks, computers, iPads, TVs. I like to rob the UPS guy and the mailman. And we'll see a mailman leave a package, and we'll take turns, and we'll run up to the stairs, and we'll grab the package, and we'll run back out, and we can't wait to open it because sometimes, like, there's stuff of value from the UPS man, and then we can sell that to our drug dealer.
You were involved in armed robbery at a liquor store.
Yes.
Armed robbery, federal mail. You do understand these are felonies and federal crimes, right?
Yes.
When you got busted in the nursing home, you got caught.
Yep.
And you got him a lawyer.
Yes, I got him out of it.
Which one of you stole the necklace off your grandmother's urn?
I did.
I know it was both, because we both went to sell it.
Well, Alyssa and Talia admit being identical twins has some advantages that, well, it just may break their parents' heart. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Being identical twins, it's double the money, double the drugs, double the men. It's double everything because we're identical twins. And guys always say 2 is better than 1, so.
And later, you'll miss your sisters.
I would do anything better than that. But they can't.
Please do not make excuses for these girls to their sisters.
This February, more emotion, more surprises, more drama, and we're just getting started.
I had a traumatized 3-year-old girl saying, my daddy hurt me. Where is he gonna hurt you at?
A child does not say those things unless she was coached.
You cannot coach a 3-year-old. Ask anyone.
That is coaching.
I came here to help my daughter, and you turned this into a giant circus.
I'm done. The twins admit that thievery and manipulation aren't the only ways they score money for drugs. They say being a twin has its advantages on the streets.
Older men kind of just want, like, me on one arm, her on the other. Younger men, like, they want quick. Yeah, get in and out. Twins. Yeah. But the older men are more arm candy, and the younger guys are the drug dealers. It's more, come in and sleep with me, and we'll help you out. One time we took turns. Like, she would go in the bathroom of the hotel, and I would go in and sleep with him. He'd hand me some cash, and then she'd go out and sleep with him, and then he'd hand her some cash, and then we'd just leave. Normally, I have sex with all the dealers. Give me drugs for sex. I don't even want your cash. Being identical twins, it's double the money, double the drugs, double the men. It's double everything because we're identical twins. And guys always say 2 is better than 1, so.
Okay, tell me what your reaction is as you watch your life play down on screen.
It's like, is this a joke? Like, I don't understand. Like, literally, this is normal to me. Getting high, being with my twin, manipulating people. Drugs are more important than survival to me.
But you just laughed at that. I mean, you just laughed about it. You said, hey, you know, twins, they like that, ha, ha, ha. I mean, like, we're out selling our bodies. We're out hooking for drugs, and we get more drugs because we're twins.
Yeah, and I absolutely hate it. I hate it. I feel disgusting every time, but for me, like, that high in the end is worth it.
You were talking about rock bottom earlier?
Do you think you've hit bottom?
I've been dead how many times? 8?
Do you think you've hit bottom?
No. No. And watching that video, I like, right now, I miss that. And I shouldn't, but that's, I'm gonna be honest, like, I miss that right now. It's the only thing we know.
You've OD'd 4 times, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
You said it took 10 times the normal dose of Narcan just to bring you back.
Yep. And I was mad. I was like, why did you do that? I didn't want to be saved. I
I was mad.
And I thought that was your rock bottom.
What is it? You know, I don't get you guys. Has somebody given you that there's some mythical rock bottom, that's some magical point that you hit before you get better? Because if they have, let me tell you, that's rock bottom is dead. And listen, you would think, being twins, that if there was any degree of moral compass left, if there was any degree of moral fiber left, she would try to save her from what she knows is happening. And she would try to save her from what she knows is happening. I mean, they would just say, look, okay, maybe I'm irredeemable, maybe I'm not worth saving, but I am going to do what it takes to get my sister out of this life.
I care more about her than me.
Then get her out of this. You let her go to jail for you. Didn't she go to jail pretending to be you?
I've done a lot of bad things for her, too.
But didn't she go to jail pretending to be you?
She had to use my ID and pretend to be me, yes.
Yeah. So you had a jail sentence to do, and she served it pretending to be you. The jail still doesn't know that you never went to jail, right?
She did it. I wouldn't have lasted like a minute.
And that's the other thing. I've had her sectioned, locked up. I know, but I know.
There's nothing that can, I just feel like there's nothing that can help me.
In the back of your brain, think that there is a life, there is a better life, and that you got 3 sisters that really care about you.
They do have 3 sisters. Yeah, 3 younger sisters. They're here. They all say the twins have destroyed their family. They're killing their parents. Let's hear what they have to say after the break.
Oh, my God.
When I talk to Talia and Alyssa, I'm talking to a black hole. There is no soul, no emotion.
It's never family first anymore. It's always drugs first. My sisters have become a disgusting disease.
It's embarrassing to talk about them.
My sisters have become a disgusting disease.
When I talk to Talia and Alyssa, I'm talking to a black hole. There is no soul, no emotion. Personally, it's embarrassing to talk about them.
It's never family first anymore. It's always drugs first. It's hard to explain to other people what I'm going through and what it's like. I haven't talked to them since 2 or 3 months. I have nothing to say to them.
I see Talia and Alyssa as inhumane people. They don't care how they affect other people. They are selfish, manipulative drug addicts.
I've seen needles in their closet, hidden in their shoes.
I don't like to talk to my parents about it because it's just like, I want to handle it myself, and I know they're stressed about it, so I just don't want them to think that I'm upset.
It's not my fault that my sisters are drug addicts, and it's not my fault that my mom and dad have to argue about this every single day and have to worry about where they are and who they're with.
I don't know who they are or who they become. These were my loving sisters.
I worry about my sisters hitting rock bottom. Timeless's rock bottom is going to be death.
Okay, girls, I'm glad that you've joined us. I'm sorry that you need to. I'm sorry we're in this situation. But what is your hope for your sisters?
I just want them to be better. I want them to be back to the way they used to be. I think they need to realize that there's more to life than just this. They need to realize what they have in their future, not just this.
Do y'all miss your sisters?
I don't even remember who they are. I honestly don't. It's been so long. I would do anything to have them back.
What do y'all have to say?
I'm at a point where I just want to like hug all of them, but like I have to be like kind of like a rock. So it's fake. I have to be fake because I'm embarrassed around them. I don't even know their ages, and they're all younger, and they're all having jobs, and they're like building a life while I'm like in the background and watching, and
it's not too late. Well, you have the option to get help, but you just don't.
Pretty scary how I don't see emotion right now.
I feel like I just had to program myself to become like cold-hearted, and like honestly, this is like the most incredible feeling right now in the whole world. But like it sucks that it has to be in California, like not home. I don't know home. And when we're walking around in LA, finding drugs and laughing and holding hands, we're not thinking of them.
or not. I think about them when I'm alone and in bed and I'm high. And I already did everything that I had to like do, and then I think about everything.
You guys need to get your mindset out of the drugs. You need to start thinking about everyone else and stop thinking about yourselves and how you're going to get the drugs.
But they can't.
You need to get help.
Oh, my God.
What?
Just stop talking. Just please stop talking. Don't make excuses for these girls. Please do not make excuses for these girls to their sisters. They don't want to hear your excuses. They don't want to hear you apologize for them. They don't want to hear you make excuses for them. They want to hear you stand up and tell those girls that it's time to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, get off their ass, and get in the game.
And it's time you grow the up and do it. And my friends, you have to do it.
I don't get how this doesn't get...
And it's not fair to these guys. If you want to die, it's your decision. That's selfish. Think of Rosie crying because you're dead.
How do you not process that we're all here for you? Get help and fix yourself.
Every time I go to rehab, I tell myself wholeheartedly that this is the time that I'm going to get it. Literally could pass the lie detector test. Give me 2 days, and my mind is back where I started, where I'm going to find a way to get to my sister, and we're going to get high that night. And when I get that impulse, there's just something in me that, like, I have to act on it. I can't sit with myself.
Just so you know, you have control over yourself, what you do. You do.
You're convincing
yourself. You just don't think about the consequences. Because you've been spoiled and whatever.
What's the right answer? Why?
I don't know the right answer. That's why we're here.
I'll get involved and show you the way back.
That would be amazing. I'm scared of you.
So part of your brain's working.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, is her husband injecting her with poison?
Absolutely not.
He would sneak up on me. Next thing I know, I'm feeling pain.
If he's poisoning you, why are you not dead?
That's tomorrow.
I've lost a lot of friends due to heroin use. Literally every time I find out someone dies, I want to know where they got their drugs because I want to try that. I want to know, like, exactly who it came from, and that's what I will chase. Obviously got them high enough to the point where they overdose. You're chasing something that is inevitably going to kill you. You're going to die. It's either jails, institutions, or death. And we've been to both, so like there's one stop left.
What if there is a way for you to climb out of that life and into this one? Would you do it?
Yes. In a second.
If there was a way.
I didn't even just question that in my head. I usually process things 100 times. But there's no answer.
There's no answer, you know. Because let's face it.
Yeah, right.
Let's face it. Your reasoning and your logic is stunted when you started doing drugs because it changed your brain.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 45 years. There's a possibility that I know something about getting from where you are to where you're going that you haven't been introduced to yet. Just a possibility. I'm not saying I do. There's just a possibility. You don't have to want to be sober. You just have to want to. Because right now, you don't want to be sober. And if you tell me you do, you're lying.
Because right? I know that I'm going to, like, get sick.
Of course.
And I know that I'm going to fail again. And I know that I have nowhere to live, so why not?
Exactly. That's why I'm not asking you don't want to be sober. I'm just saying you don't have to want to be sober. You just have to want to. And that's a big difference.
It's like throughout the whole day, even. We're like, what are we doing? Yeah, but it's usually like when we're high is when we get into these conversations of like, I hate my life. She hates her life. We hate our lives together. We hate being high. We hate the hustle. So let's get high. The only thing we can do in that situation is get high.
Because it's your only option, right? Because everybody else, you either steal from, betray, or manipulate. You can't steal from me. You can't betray me because I don't trust you, so you can't violate my trust. And you can't even almost manipulate me. But what I will do, if you want to, I'll get involved and show you the way back.
That would be amazing. I'm scared of you. I'm scared of you.
Yeah.
That's
so part of your brain's working.
Good. That's perfect. That's perfect.
I don't think you've ever said that about anyone.
That's the best.
And I've seen some scary
That's the first
people.
honest thing you said in months. Do you realize how lucky you are to be here? Like, this is it. This is the end of the road. No more detox, no more people, no more nothing. This is it.
It's crazy.
Do you want to invite me into this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get involved in everybody's life unless they invite me to get involved. And then once I get involved, I get involved. And that means that you're going to get clean.
That means that I have, like, a chance.
That means you're going to get clean. That means you're going to get clean. Because that means that I'm going to haunt you till the end of the world. Until you get clean.
Are you kidding me? No.
When you try to run off, it's going to make a really obnoxious noise. We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Because we have a lot of fun here, don't we?
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. That's 323-461-7445.
You have to agree with me to follow the protocol that I'm setting up to keep you from sabotaging yourselves. Are you willing to do that?
Yes, I am.
Are you willing to do that?
Yeah.
This is T.J. Howard right here. He's corporate director for the Origins Behavioral Health Care. I flew him in here today for you. Now, they have a center located on South Padre Island in Texas. They have one in West Palm Beach, Florida, and Vero Beach, Florida. And one is going to be in one place, the other one's going to be in another. And when you get there, you're going to go through a very thorough, comprehensive evaluation. They are very sophisticated in setting up comprehensive programs. This is Dr. Frank Lawless right here. Raise your hand, Frank, so I can see you. Dr. Lawless is the chairman of the Dr. Phil Advisory Board. He is the co-founder and director of the Lawless PVP and P Center in Dallas, Texas. And Frank, at this point, their brains, I've said their brains have been hijacked. Do you agree with what I'm saying about that? They couldn't stop. It isn't just a matter of withdrawal. I don't think they could stop this until we reformat some neurological patterns if they wanted to.
I agree with you. The pleasure centers are, and I like your word, being hijacked. So consequently, we have to begin there at that deeper level beneath the cortex level that to be able to change these brain patterns so that your pleasure centers can be activated in the most positive way.
Now, you're going to need medical supervision immediately, or you're going to go into withdrawal. So I also flew nurses in here to help you and accompany you to where you're going. Now, how am I going to keep you from running off once you get there? Tim?
Oh, man. Are you kidding me? No.
You're going to wear these, and they're going to have the GPS tracking units. And when you try to run off, or if you try to not charge this, it's going to make a really obnoxious noise.
Are you kidding me? No. I mean, barbed wire wasn't even that scary.
You want to take that, and you want to take that. Because you're also going to have to sign this. That's hers. This one's yours. Because if you get off somewhere, this is going to trigger, it's going to trigger Origins, and it's going to trigger the police. Dear law enforcement, I am a drug addict, and if you're reading this, I have left my treatment facility against medical advice. There is not a doubt in my mind that if I do not return, I will die from my addiction. I beg of you, do whatever it takes to return me to my treatment program. Do not listen to my excuses. Do not believe my tears and promises. The only way I will survive is to be locked up in jail or return to my treatment facility. If I have left on the street, I will die. Sincerely, Talia or Alyssa, I need you guys to sign those for me.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't steal my pen. That's witnessed by me. Okay, I would like Petra and Rocco on stage to install these devices, because this starts now. Want to get something off your chest? Sign up for the drphil.com community and weigh in on your favorite episodes and share your personal stories with other community members. Plus, get started on your own blog to share your thoughts on the topics that interest you most. I'll be reading those message boards. Log on to drphil.com today. Talia and Alyssa have agreed to go to treatment, and we have secured their ankle bracelets. And you will be accompanied by attendants from your respective facilities and the nurses that will be helping you, because, as I say, there's no virtue in getting sick and going back, so we'll be helping you to medically manage that. You will also be accompanied by someone else should you decide that you want to take a flyer even before you get on the flight. He is an off-duty LAPD officer. 16 months ago, Amanda and her two sisters, Valine and Tiffany, sat on this stage, all three dangerously addicted to heroin. Well, I am proud to say all three sisters are still sober and doing great. Here they are. Amanda, it's so good to see you.
Hey, Dr. Phil.
So tell me, what's the journey been like?
I mean, it hasn't been easy. I literally sat in that chair next to my two best friends. We were killing each other. I was addicted to the needle. How am I not going to stick a needle in my arm every day? Like, I'm telling you, like, it's possible. I'm sitting here. I haven't stuck any substance in my body in 16 months. It's possible.
Well, I am really proud of you and proud of your sisters. Please pass my love on to them, will you?
I will. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to TJ Hauer and Origins Behavioral Health Care for helping us today. And Frank Lawless, thank you for always being there. Thanks for drilling down on these stories. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. And Bernard, thank you for making sure these girls get on that airplane like they need to be. Oh, man. Thank you for being here today. So long. I think we got a plan, Dad. Thanks so much. I think we got a plan. Let's make this work. I want you sitting in that chair down there. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks, guys.
an all-new Dr. Phil.
You fully believe you are sitting across from the woman that pushed your son over a rail and killed him.
That's what I believe.
A girlfriend accused.
I never pushed Malcolm. I was in no way responsible for his death.
She has a history of being violent.
They know how much I love Malcolm.
He was drunk, and you were yelling at him.
Yeah, I yelled.
Did you put your hands on him?
No.
Well, why did he fall?
A mother wants answers.
I really want Chloe to take a polygraph. Take the test and get it over with. Her sister was telling people that she did it.
I thought that I heard her say that she pushed him. I didn't comprehend it.
We had a fight, and I pushed him over the rail. What part of that did you not comprehend? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Okay, I want you to take a look at this couple. They were young, happy high school sweethearts. 21-year-old Malcolm even gave his 19-year-old girlfriend, Chloe, a promise ring. She says they had every intention to spend the rest of their lives together. That is until late last year when their romance ended with a life-shattering event that killed Malcolm and made Chloe a sworn enemy of Malcolm's mom. It was late November when Malcolm tragically fell over the railing of a 3-story apartment building and suffered extensive trauma to his brain that left him in a coma. He passed away just 2.5 weeks later. Now, Malcolm's mom, Stephanie, does not believe this was an accident. She says the only person who was with Malcolm at the time was Chloe, who she now calls the devil. She says Chloe is acting very suspiciously by staying silent, even refusing to take a polygraph offered by authorities. Stephanie is now positive Chloe is responsible for the death of her son, and she wants justice.
Chloe was not the woman I wanted for Malcolm, and he knew that. Chloe moved in with me while her and Malcolm were dating. She didn't cook, clean, didn't do anything. I feel like I let the devil in. If I knew then what I know now, we wouldn't be here today. Chloe had a history of fighting with Malcolm. I saw scratches on Malcolm's neck, and I confronted Chloe about it and told her, keep your hands off of my son. She admitted to it. After that, I thought Chloe was done with physical altercations Malcolm wanted out of the relationship. I think that was one of her problems. I did get a phone call from Chloe. She was crying. Malcolm fell. They were on their way to the hospital. I was in shock. The story I got was Malcolm stepped back and fell sideways. There's no way I can believe the story she gave me. Something she did that night caused him to fall. I believe she got mad. He was probably trying to dodge her. Or she pushed him and he fell over. When I was at the hospital, I looked over at Chloe and I said, what are you not telling me? Chloe said, I've told you everything that happened. She sat at the hospital for 4 days. I think that she stayed because she was worried that he would come to and let us know what was going on. The more I observed Chloe at the hospital, the guiltier she looked. Malcolm fell November 14th. He died on December 3rd. I am 100% sure she has something to do with his death.
Well, Chloe says what happened was a freak accident and says she wouldn't put her hands on the man she loved.
I want to come on the Dr. Phil show to clear my name. I loved Malcolm and had every intention to spend the rest of my life with him. He got me a ring for my birthday and gave all these reasons why he loved me. I did not kill him. The night Malcolm passed away, I had been trying to get a hold of him for a couple hours. Finally, I heard him coming up the stairs and came out and came down the hall and stopped at the top of the flight. He was on the flight between the second and the third story. I was angry, I will admit that, and I was yelling. I said, "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" He didn't have even time to respond to me. He stepped down to the next step and just lost it and went top heavy over the side. There were a good 4 or 5 steps between us. It wasn't even like I was close enough to grab him. I watched him fall all the way till he hit the ground. I could tell that his head smacked really hard. I ran down the stairs screaming. Malcolm was rushed to the hospital, and they later said that he had severe head trauma. I was at the hospital for 4 days straight. I couldn't bring myself to leave. We were very much in love. He was my best friend. While we were in the hospital, Stephanie and his family were very understanding. After Malcolm passed, Stephanie did a complete 180. Stephanie never even contacted me. I found out through a friend. I knew nothing, and no one would tell me anything. Stephanie is wrong. I never pushed Malcolm. I was in no way responsible for his death.
Well, Chloe and Stephanie have not seen each other in about 3 months. Let me say to both of you, I'm very sorry for your loss. I know it's terrible. I, as a parent, we're not supposed to bury our children, right?
Right.
When you learned about this, what was your first thought? What was your first instinct? Did you think this was just a terrible accident?
When I first heard of it, I wouldn't allow myself to think it was as bad as it was.
And when this happened, did you know it was serious right away?
Obviously, I didn't know. You know, I wanted to get him to the hospital.
Well, he had fallen 3 stories, right?
Yeah. And I mean, he started bleeding almost instantaneously. So I knew that there was something that had happened.
Okay. And did I hear you say, I didn't really care much for her before? I didn't think she was right for Malcolm?
Right. I met Chloe at the beginning, maybe when she was still in school. When they were in school was when I met Chloe. And she was good then. She said she was going to college. She was, you know, it seemed like she had her head on her shoulders. And when they really started dating, I think it was maybe a year later is when I really got to know her. She moved in.
Did you really not like her very much?
No, not really. I mean, she's okay, but she's not right for she wasn't right for my son.
You said she is...
The devil.
The devil.
Yeah.
Manipulative, a liar?
Yes, everything I've known is a lie, basically.
So you fully believe, as you sit here right now, you are sitting across from the woman that pushed your son over a rail and killed him.
Right.
You are sitting across from a woman that pushed your son over the rail and killed him.
Right. That's what I believe. I just cannot believe that he just fell. Malcolm was not clumsy like that. He wasn't a klutz. He didn't.
Was he drunk?
He was drinking. From my understanding, he was drinking, but he was not drunk. She said he was
either drunk or he wasn't. I mean, there was an autopsy done. They took readings. He was either drunk or he wasn't.
Right.
You know that.
Yeah, and they didn't say he was drunk. He had alcohol in his system, but they did not say he was drunk.
Would it change your opinion if you knew he was drunk?
No. The only thing that would change my opinion is to take a polygraph and them tell me that she passed and she didn't put her hands on him. That's the only thing that would make me change my mind.
Did you put your hands on him?
No.
You did not cause him to go over that rail.
No.
You didn't push him. You didn't take a swing at him. He didn't duck back and fall over. You were not in a physical altercation with him, resulting in him going over that railing.
No.
How far away from him were you when he went over the rail?
A good at least 3 stairs, at least 3 steps.
So you couldn't have reached him if you wanted to?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people were harassing me, saying that I should have caught him or I should have gone over the railing with him. Like, I would have done anything. Anything. Like, I wanted to marry that man and spend the rest of my life with him. I would have done anything to save him.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a break. We're going to find out what Stephanie did after her suspicions of Chloe grew while Malcolm was in a coma. We'll be right back.
I was actually banned from Malcolm's funeral.
I was tired of the act. She wanted people to see her grieving. It was about Chloe.
And later, why did he fall?
I thought that I heard her say that she pushed him.
Tomorrow, the pastor.
You went on this escort website to sell insurance.
The call girl.
You told me she was an insurance client.
Would this fall under life or disability?
The confession.
I said it was a wrong relationship.
No, you called it an affair.
You spent over $60,000.
Who is this mystery woman?
You won't believe what she had to say.
Then on Wednesday, a teacher has sex with a student.
He was never my student.
Well, until that night.
But here's the twist.
Tanya is suing Tristan. She says she is the real victim here.
Wednesday.
2 days after Malcolm was pushed off the balcony, Chloe said, "This will be if I get charged with this." Who thinks like that if you're innocent?
Chloe's boyfriend, Malcolm, fell over a rail in an apartment building and died in December. She was the only witness. Chloe says Malcolm's family did a complete 180 on her while Malcolm was in the hospital.
I was actually banned from Malcolm's funeral. No one let me know when it was.
I couldn't allow her at the funeral not knowing if she killed him or not.
Stephanie did not want to make any accommodations for me. I couldn't come in after or before.
I was tired of the act. She wanted people to see her grieving. It was about Chloe.
There were threats made to me, telling me that if I came, they would smash my head in. Some people said that if they saw me, that they were going to shoot me.
I had my son Malcolm cremated. One, because I didn't want to go to the graveyard and see him, but I wasn't going to allow her to do it either. He's at home. He's where he's supposed to be.
Chloe says after she was banned from Malcolm's funeral, the accusations came pouring in, and so did the threats.
People message me and are just like, I heard you pushed him. A couple days ago, I got a message about, hey, can you tell Malcolm I said hey? Like it was supposed to be funny or something. It's become a racial thing. People don't even know who I am. They just know that his white girlfriend killed him. They don't know how he died, what happened. It's gotten quite out of hand. That's to the point now where I want to delete all of my social media. Why did you push him off the balcony? I went out with a couple of my friends, and my friends posted photos, and that's where the comments were made. You all have the nerve to be kicking it with the enemy, so that makes me the enemy. The harshest thing they've called me is the Kansas City killer. I haven't responded to the messages I get. I have stayed quiet this whole time. My friends were his friends, and his friends were my friends, and so now I really have no one at all.
Reba, thank you for being here. You've been listening to the show so far. These are very serious accusations, and I can't find a basis for the allegation other than you're obviously in pain from your loss, which I understand, and I'm very sorry for your loss as well. I know it's terrible. Other than the fact that she was present at the time, what is the basis for the allegation? I don't understand.
Chloe has a history of putting her hands on Malcolm. She's abusive, basically.
I think the doubt comes from the fact that so many different people tell us so many different stories that she said. Miranda, her sister, was telling people that she did it, and we hear from the police that she refuses to take the polygraph test. To me, if I'm innocent and I know things happened the way that I said they happened, I would have taken the test. I would have asked to take it before they asked me to take it. So then there is no doubt. It's over with.
They were told that you said, I should have hit him harder.
Yes, one of the boys in the apartment tried to tell the officers that he heard me say I should have hit you harder. But no one else in the apartment heard it.
Did you say I should have hit him harder?
No, I said, I mean, I came out the door like I said in my video.
said something to the effect of, "Where had you been?" And he had no time to even respond. And that's not even a logical statement to say. Why would someone say, "I should have hit you harder," as he's laying at the bottom of the stairs? Or, "Where did you expect me to, like, what had happened? How do you play that out? When would I have said that?"
So you were having an argument. You were yelling at him.
I wouldn't call it an argument because he didn't even have time to respond.
And you were yelling at him?
Yeah, I yelled. Yes, I was like, "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" Something to that effect, because I was angry that he had not been answering me.
Okay. I've been doing this a long time, and somebody that's trying to cover and misdirect, why would she admit that she's yelling at him if she's trying to cover up? She's saying, "Yeah, I came out of the door yelling at him."
Well, when she take the polygraph test and kill it all.
Well, she doesn't have to take a polygraph test.
Well, we know that. But she's my family, and she cares and loves us, so give me that closure.
But
I haven't done anything to Chloe. I haven't talked about her.
Well, other than say she's a devil and manipulative and a compulsive liar and lazy and messy and entitled and whorish, you've called her everything but decent.
Right.
Other than that.
Right. But that's just now. That's not something that has been going on. I didn't even do that when the situation was going on. I've never called Chloe and talked about her, threatened her, or anything ever. And she knows that. I was asked, and I wanted to let y'all know how I really felt.
So, was he drunk? I mean, is there an alternative explanation? We're going to answer that question. And next, Stephanie says Chloe's story about how Malcolm fell kept changing. We're going to find out what she says the three versions were when we come back. Plus, we're going to add Chloe's sister to the mix and see what she can straighten out. We'll be right back.
People were actually making all kinds of crazy accusations. She pushed him, she punched him. People need somebody to blame when somebody dies, and everybody's blaming Chloe.
And later,
Malcolm would want you to take the test so his mama could move on.
I shouldn't even be accused because, like, they know how much I loved Malcolm.
This February, more emotion, more surprises, more drama, and we're just getting started.
I had a traumatized 3-year-old girl saying, "My daddy hurt me."
Where is he gonna hurt you at?
A child does not say those things unless she was coached.
You cannot coach a 3-year-old. Ask anyone.
that is coaching.
I came here to help my daughter, and you turned this into a giant circus.
I'm done.
When we were in the hospital, Chloe told my sister and I that Miranda was going around telling everyone that Chloe did it, that she pushed him. Chloe asked her, "Why are you saying that?" And she said that's what she thought she heard. There's no way I would tell a story like that about my sister. Either Miranda was lying or Chloe told her that she did it.
Well, Stephanie claims Chloe's sister Miranda heard Chloe admit she pushed Malcolm over the rail. But Miranda says not true, and Chloe is being attacked and wrongly accused.
Malcolm's spirit was joyful, funny, outgoing, and courageous. If Malcolm had a voice right now, I know that he would want Chloe and Stephanie to come together. Seeing them fighting is probably one of the most heartbreaking things he has to see. People were actually making all kinds of crazy accusations. She pushed him, she punched him. I want everybody to hear what Chloe has to say and hear her side of the story. People need somebody to blame when somebody dies, and everybody's blaming Chloe. I wish that someday Chloe and Stephanie will be able to get along. Hopefully this will ease their minds and hearts and that they can move on from it all.
Well, Miranda, thank you for joining us. Did your sister Chloe tell you that she pushed Malcolm over the rail?
No, she did not.
Did she tell you that she hit him?
No.
Did she tell you that she should have hit him harder?
No.
Did you hear her tell anyone else that she should have hit him harder?
No.
Do you believe that she pushed him over the rail?
No, I do not.
Has she confided in you any time then or since then that she caused his death directly or indirectly in any way?
No, she did not.
You guys are saying that she said what?
Chloe said that Miranda was the one telling people that she did it.
And
so
that is true.
That is
true. We were in the hospital in the family room all together.
Right.
I was on the phone with Miranda because a friend of mine had messaged me and was asking me what was going on, and that he had talked to Miranda, and Miranda had said that I pushed him. So I called her, obviously, to say, you know, why are you saying this? And she's like, is that not what you said? And I said, no, that's not what I said.
Did you think she told you she did it?
I thought that's what I heard. And then
What'd you think you heard her say?
I thought that I heard her say that she pushed him.
You know, obviously she heard wrong. I didn't say that. Because if I hadn't confided in her and I killed him, then why would my sister be saying that? Why would my sister go out and say that I killed him if I was trying to hide it and cover it up and confide in her? Because the first thing I would say would be like, oh, don't tell anybody this.
But you thought she told you that and you went and told people.
Right.
But I didn't say not to say.
So you forgot to say, don't tell nobody.
No, because if I killed someone, I would say something.
Well, tell me, let's assume, and I'm not saying you said it, but let's assume that's what you think you heard.
I didn't really, comprehend it. I didn't comprehend in my head when she was talking to me.
Well, what part of it didn't you get? We had a fight and I pushed him over the rail. Let's break that sentence down. We had a fight. You got that part?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I pushed him over the rail. You got that part?
Yes.
So putting those together, we had a fight and I pushed him over the rail. What part of that did you not comprehend?
When her and I were talking, I wasn't awake. I was still half asleep when she called me.
That's kind of a Folgers moment, right? I mean, you pick up the phone and your sister says, I just murdered my boyfriend. Isn't that kind of
dead at that time.
Isn't that kind of a wake-up call? But I mean, isn't that a wake-up moment? Don't you kind of go, whoa, wait a minute?
I mean, yeah, I guess I would have, but
Did you ask any follow-up questions?
No.
What did you say that she may have misunderstood as I pushed him over the rail?
I don't really remember the conversation that she confused. I'm assuming she probably asked me, what happened. I told her that he fell. I believe that she asked me, did you push him? And I said no in the conversation.
Well, if you didn't push him, why did he fall? Stephanie says when she saw pictures of the scene where Malcolm fell, she had even more questions. We're going to talk about that when we come back. He was drunk, step back and come back. You could come on back.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think I'd be able to fall back.
And later, if she were to take a polygraph.
If she didn't touch him, I can't hold it against her. I just want to move on. I have to look at my son on my table every day when I come home. That's ridiculous to me. Chloe gave me 3 different stories on how Malcolm fell over the balcony. He stepped back and fell sideways and got top heavy. His foot got caught in the rail and he fell over. He was leaning on the rail and fell over. I don't understand how she has 3 interpretations of one story.
Well, just this past November, Stephanie's son, Malcolm, tragically fell over a stairway railing 15 feet high and passed away from massive brain trauma. The only person with Malcolm the night he fell, the moment that he fell, was his girlfriend, Chloe, who Stephanie and her sister, Reba, think is responsible for Malcolm's death. And they say that she's changed her story at least 3 times as to what happened that night. Now, first, let's let's take a look at a picture of where this took place at this apartment building, because I would like to know where he was at the time. And, you know, we can see here that these are split stairways, correct? And by that, I mean that you go up and there's a landing, and you go up and there's a landing, and you go up. So they're not all one. It's 1, 2, 1, 2. So when you say he was part way up, do you mean he had come up this portion here and was on this landing, or was he partially up this stairway here?
The top stairway.
So he was actually on the incline.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're saying that he had been drinking, but they said he wasn't drunk.
Right.
They pumped his stomach out at the hospital.
Yeah, as soon as he got to the hospital.
Well, we did get a medical report from the night that Malcolm fell. This was November 14th of 2015. And it says that he did consume alcohol before the fall. Law enforcement officers here. The patient may have had an altercation with a girlfriend. Toxicology, alcohol quantitative, less than 10 milligrams per deciliter, 125 milligrams. Now, there's a conversion rate that you can do there to the blood alcohol content level, and that would be a 0.125. So he was intoxicated that night. And let's take a look at what that means at that level. At a 0.10, that would be equivalent of about 5 alcoholic drinks. There's a clear deterioration of reaction time and control. You would have slurred speech, poor coordination, and slowed thinking. Now, at 0.15, and he was at 0.125, so it's halfway in between these, you would have far less muscle control than normal, enough so that vomiting may occur, and you would have a major loss of balance. I had constructed a replica of the steps here with the exact specifications in terms of the rise of the step and the height of the rail. And I understand Malcolm was 5'10".
Yes.
Okay. And he weighed what?
About 180, 190.
Okay. All right. So before the show, I asked for a volunteer from the audience that's 5'10" and weighs about the same as Malcolm. Could I get you to step up now, if you would? Your name?
I'm Matt.
Matt, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
If you would step up on the steps, if you'd step up, another one, maybe one more. You were saying if he was here, you say that he caught his right foot. Right?
The right foot is the one that stepped back, yes.
Okay, that he stepped back with his right foot.
Yes.
Okay, and if you would, step back with your right foot, and at that point, he turned
and
that way.
Just like that. If he would go just like straight that direction, just like that.
And he was drunk, so illegally intoxicated. Come on over backwards a bit. Keep your foot on the top. Come on back over there. Okay. You could come on back.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think I'd be able to fall back.
Okay. All right, thank you. What's your reaction to what you just saw?
I just think if he stepped back, I don't see how he fell over the rail. If he stepped back, how come he didn't tumble down the stairs? It just doesn't make sense to me. You don't step back on a stairwell and fall sideways. You're going to tumble down the stairs.
Well, that certainly could happen. There's a reason that OSHA, there's a reason that the government has raised those rails
and they've started
another 6 inches. Because historically, people do fall over those rails at this height for a variety of reasons. The point is, it can happen. It doesn't mean it did happen.
Right.
But it certainly means that it can happen. Chloe says that she wants to prove her innocence, but Stephanie and Reba want to know why she hasn't jumped at the opportunity to take a polygraph. Well, we're going to ask Chloe when we come back.
My baby's dead.
Well,
that's why I didn't bring you out here. I brought her out here. I don't know why you're here.
Well, we're not here to. Let's not go there.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, the pastor.
You went on this escort website to sell insurance.
And the call girl.
You told me she was an insurance client.
Would this fall under life or disability?
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by...
Look at this face. You think I'd feed him anything but the best? That's why he gets Blue Buffalo. Because when you love him like family, you want to feed him like family.
I really want Chloe to take a polygraph. She refused.
I have extreme anxiety, and that was a fear of mine that I would maybe fail.
She has a lawyer in her family that told her not to do it.
I'm open to doing one. It's more so that my attorney / my grandfather has advised me not to. I would think that he would know what's best.
This is the one thing I think that could give me closure.
I don't know if I will ever take one.
Well, after the tragic loss of her son, Malcolm, Stephanie says she just can't move on until she knows the truth from Malcolm's girlfriend, Chloe, the only person who was with him the night he fell. Now, Stephanie and her sister, Reba, believe that Chloe's silence is an admission of guilt and says Malcolm's death is on Chloe's hands. You say that you don't know that you'll ever take a polygraph, that you've been advised by a family lawyer to not take one.
My grandfather, actually, yes.
And he said, don't take a polygraph.
Yeah, he told me that as far as a legal standpoint, even if I were to pass and they would say, oh, she didn't kill him, if I would have messed up on one of the questions or they would have seen signs of, you know, maybe lying, that it would give the detectives rooms to investigate. He also felt like, you know, it's ridiculous. I loved Malcolm. I would never, you know, I would never have done that. So.
If she were to take a polygraph, in fairness, you said that you would still feel like she contributed to his death because they were fighting and arguing and she was in his face and contributed to it.
Correct.
So,
not saying...
In fairness, you might say, well, okay, so she didn't push him over it, but she still contributed to the fact that he's not here.
Right. I mean, but I can't hold that against her. You know what I mean?
What I say or I do.
No, I can't hold it against her. We'll never be cool. I'm just going to be honest. It'll never happen. It will not happen, period. But I can't hold that against her. If she didn't touch him, I can't hold it against her. I just want to move on. I've been in my job for 15 years. I haven't been able to go to work. I just want to get this over with. Period. That's all I asked her to do. Just take the test for me. You say you love me and my family so much, take the test and get it over with. Just let me know this one thing. You're here. My son is gone. I have to look at my son on my table every day when I come home. That's ridiculous to me.
I shouldn't even be accused because, like, they know how much I loved Malcolm. Like, she used to tell me that I would never leave him. They know that.
How much you loved him, but I know how when you get angry, how you go after him, too. That's my problem. And I've told you about putting your hands on him. So you knew what you did. So for me, if you really ever really cared about me, you would take the test and let me be done with it. But if you're worried about yourself, I get it. You're worried about yourself and you don't want to be, you know, in trouble or whatever to investigate it. So I get that. Do you? But if you really cared about me, if you ever cared about me and Malcolm, y'all say what Malcolm would have wanted. Malcolm would want you to take the test so his mama could move on. Because you knew, if nothing else, my baby loved me. My baby was for me no matter what. So if you loved me, if you really loved my baby, you would take the test so I can move on.
Yeah,
period.
But Malcolm's mama ain't going to move on, is the point.
You just said that you weren't.
No, I will. I can't. Like I said, we'll never be cool. We'll never be cool.
You brought us out here.
Never had to, but why? Because she wouldn't take the test at home.
Well,
my baby's dead.
Well,
that's why I didn't bring you out here. I brought her out here. I don't know why you're here.
Because I'm sticking up for her.
You ain't a part of this story, though. Really?
Well, I invited her.
In what way?
I know, I get it.
Your son lived in my house.
What house?
We're not here to. Let's not go there.
Family that you never had.
Let's not deteriorate here. Let's not do this to Malcolm. Let's not do this to Malcolm. When we come back, I'm going to tell both sides what I think is the straightest line from where they are to getting some peace on both sides of this. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. At some point, you've got to make a goal to accept and find some peace in the reality of what is. Because nothing you can do, whether she gets prosecuted and convicted and put in jail, or she doesn't, you know that won't bring Malcolm back. And if you're being honest, whether she takes a polygraph and passes it or not, it's not going to substantially change the way you feel about her. It may change one element where you say, okay, maybe she didn't actually shove him over the rail, but you feel like she shoved her way into his life. You feel like she was controlling with him. You feel like she was possessive with him. You feel like she was intrusive with him. You feel like if she hadn't been in his life, he would be alive today. So you're going to tie that can to her tail, whether she passes that polygraph or whether she doesn't. And there are only two people that know what happened on that stairway, and one of them is no longer alive. There's only two people that know.
Right.
And look, if I were you and I had a grandfather that was an attorney and he was telling me not to take a polygraph, I would have to weigh that very carefully. The decision is always yours. And you can make that decision. And if you feel like you're being convicted in the court of public opinion and you want to prove to people that you didn't do this, then you can take a polygraph. And I will make Jack Tremarco available to you if you want to take a polygraph exam. Would you like to take a polygraph exam? Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. People that have nothing to hide, hide nothing. And I think there are some things that look very suspicious here. Have I made a conclusion that you pushed him over that rail? I absolutely have not made that conclusion. Not even almost have I made that conclusion. I built a model. I asked him to come up and help us here. I think we've shown that certainly could possibly happen, that someone that was intoxicated and stepped back could fall over that rail. I think that's why OSHA's increased the height of those rails. I think that is certainly physically possible to happen. But then on the other hand, your own sister says you called her up and said you pushed him over the rail, and she's out telling people. That doesn't look good for you in the court of public opinion.
Right.
Would you like to talk to Jack Tremarco?
Yeah, I told the
Would you like to take a polygraph exam?
I would speak with him, yes.
Would you like to take a polygraph exam?
I mean, we can talk about it. Because this is a serious accusation.
It certainly is a serious accusation.
This isn't like, oh, I cheated on him.
No, I agree. And you tell your grandfather, I respect what he's telling you. And he'll see this. You tell him, I told him, if you need to weigh very carefully and seriously what a lawyer tells you to do.
Right.
You need to weigh that very carefully. And I will make efforts to bring this to fruition, and I will add the circumstance of that into the show. So everybody at home will know, and all of you will know what took place in that regard. And I will try and get answers for everybody. You'll at least know that she's talked to what I consider to be the best in the country. And if she declines, then you'll know that. And perhaps that'll be data. And if she chooses to do it, then you'll know the results of that. And hopefully we'll get at least that degree of closure. And I do hope that you focus on Malcolm and give yourself permission to grieve that loss, because that's an important part of your relationship with him, is grieving his loss and changing your relationship with him from the physical to the spiritual. And you can't do that with anger standing in the way. It changes that. And I hope you give yourself permission to do that, because you deserve that and he deserves that. And so I hope at some point you give yourself permission to get past that, and so you can close that gap between you and Malcolm, because anger stands between you and Malcolm right now. And I hope you can do that. And I hope you can as well. That's one thing the two of you have in common, is that you both love the same person, and we'll hope we can get there. We're going to stop for now. I don't want this to deteriorate. I think we've taken the high road here so far, and let's just leave it right there. We will see you next time, and thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Bye.